Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.
You're supposed to be on the moon.
Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
You don't see the curvature of the earth. That stuff is flat.
Globebusters taking over. Bye-bye, moon man and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. Globebusters taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster. But the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. Get the shovel for the spice hubble. Piecing up the puzzle. Need to burst your bubble. Evil gonna crumble, yeah? Sit down and be humble. Got the ball, you better fumble. You get mad cause I just fight about your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Vibes at the president, Jeran got the evidence. Eros laying Jesuits and Zack is evident. That the earth electric and it's resonant to residents. It's heavens and I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
Globebusters taking over. Bye-bye, moon man and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. Globebusters taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster. But the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is.
Inner World Productions.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Welcome, everyone, to Globebusters, Fly Me to the Moon. I'm your temporary quasi-host, Jeran from Jeranism, but have no fear, Bob is here. He's just not at the helm, so here he is. Bob, how's it going today? This fantastic Sunday.
Hey, doing fantastic, Jeran, except for we have been having some wicked internet problems over the last couple of weeks, actually. And I've got Spectrum, that's going to be coming out here to look at it again. We had this issue about a couple months ago, and it's really getting to be a pain in the butt, So I'm really excited for the new fiber optic to go in, and as soon as it is lit, I'm on it. So
as soon as it's lit, you're going to be lit. All right, nice. I spent all day yesterday, Bob, running cables all over the house because we are going to a no Wi-Fi house for a little while. We're going to see if that helps Mavi at all. But we did a test about 2 weeks ago. We bought two plants that looked identical at Target, and we put one in the kitchen and water it the same, and we put one right next to the Wi-Fi. The one at the Wi-Fi is already wilted. It's already dying. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
so
the Wi-Fi does that, and I would recommend a lot of people actually consider doing that. I started shutting off my Wi-Fi at nighttime, but then that didn't last long because Zack always had to get up early in the morning and do his show. So
right,
I don't know. I guess just don't have the Wi-Fi transmitter in an area where there's a lot of people that are around it.
Right,
the best way to handle
ours is unfortunately right in the living room, but. No, so I just ran wires everywhere because I didn't know that you can use your iPhone with Ethernet. I just never knew that. So it was nice to find that out. And then I just kind of ran wires to wherever I'll be. So like right now, my phone is plugged into the Ethernet. And when I'm in the garage, there's now a cable out there. There's a cable in the living room. So that's the way we're going to do it. But that took all day yesterday. It was a lot of fun running hundreds of feet of Ethernet cable. Fun.
Nice. Been there, done that.
Yeah. And I had to rewire an end of an Ethernet cable for the first time ever. It was damaged, and I didn't realize it until after I ran 100 feet of it up along the ceiling. I was like, I'm not rerunning that cord. So I had to splice it and put it together myself. So anyway, that was what I did yesterday. We also have a whole bunch of people with us today. We've got Iru Landucci in the house, as always. Iru?
Hello, Jeran. Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Fantastic. Yourself?
Good. I'm really good. A little concerned about the skies here in Switzerland. I never expected to see so much chemtrails. It reminds me to North Carolina in 2017.
Oh.
The sky was incredible, greedly. I don't know how to say in English, but it was like a greed. Minute after minute, it was crazy. I was in another city, not the city that I live, and Lucerna. It's called, like I say, light Lucerne. I'm not going to say Lucy, but
Don't.
it means it came from that root. And I was in the Museum of Space and Aeronautics. And in fact, I met a guy, one of the three only men who see the Earth from 30 kilometers. And we was talking a little bit. We take some pictures, and I asked him if he was able to see the stars in the outer space. I'm talking of Felix Van Garne. Yeah, he present like a documentary.
Really?
Yeah. He presented a short documentary. I have some pictures that maybe we can show after a little bit later on the show. But the guy, just a normal guy. He don't address any type of geometric shape of the Earth. It doesn't matter if it's flat or curved. He just talk about the achievement in terms of the technology, the capsule, things like that. He's from Austria, so the conference was in German, but the documentary was in English, so very understandable. And then a few minutes after the conference, he went down the stairs and talked with people. I just asked one or two questions after the conference, because of course in the conference there was a mic to ask a few questions, but he was with super big in terms of the much management of the director of the headquarters of YouTube in terms of the sports area, because when Felix did his jump, YouTube wasn't able to carry 8 million view live. So he also talks about a little bit, I mean, the guy behind the technology on YouTube. So the guy was living in Argentina, so he talked about Spanish. I talked with him about flat Earth and asked him why they are shooting down so many videos. Well, that type of stuff, not on public. That was more in the after the conference, but it was fun.
Wow,
Awesome.
That's incredible. Wow, I never thought.
Yeah, but the guy was there.
That.
Felix Van Garne was there. I didn't have the time to talk a little more and maybe in some other technical way, but at least he was not like Neil Armstrong. He addressed some questions.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
We also got Austin here. Austin,
How's it going?
Good. Now you're too quiet.
Oh, really?
Now you did the opposite.
Uh,
Maybe not for everybody. For me, yeah.
Sorry.
Now he just sounds really, really laid back to me.
Happy to be here. I'll turn it up in a sec.
Oh, did you? I didn't miss you. Did you have your robe stream today?
I did not.
Oh, you
I
did not.
slept.
Okay.
Nah.
Didn't miss anything then. What's new? How's things going?
Pretty good. Just we're working on this song, so I stay up kind of late. Trying to get all the music done,
Very
and
nice.
that's pretty much the primary focus as of now. I got a lot of people spiraling about my last stream. That's pretty much it.
Which one? The drone one? I mean, the
Clones,
clones?
yeah.
I purposely didn't watch it. How about that?
Fair
It's the best way not to even ever bring it up. Is just what stream? I don't know what you're talking about. We've also
Well,
got
that's two, I guess.
what was the one before that?
Yeah,
the
like
race
black and
one.
white.
Yeah, that one I agree with you on. Yeah, we talked about that one. I also don't think that race is what they make it to be, or it's just dumb to be proud of something that you didn't really have a choice of and could change in a matter of 2 generations and could change 2 generations ago. We've got also Karen B in the house. Karen, are you there? I thought she was here. Maybe she's not. How about we've got Zack? Good times for all. Zachary Zavala.
I'm here. I'm sorry, I was
Oh.
muted.
She was muted. Rookie mistake.
Can't believe it.
Well, I was trying to not be noisy while everybody else was talking. And then I was like, and then my computer started spinning on something and I couldn't unmute fast enough.
How's it going, Karen?
You know, it's going great. Great.
Are you
Thank
ready? Are you
for
prepped? Are you as ready as we will ever be?
Well, almost. I mean, I'm always working on stuff pretty much right up until the event happens. So I'm still doing stuff. Yeah, but
Okay.
we'll be fine.
And
Everything will be ready.
I want to give you a chance to one real quick. Can you tell everybody why you have the event, where you have it? Because I have people who reach out to me and say, "Why would she ever do this? Why would she have the event there? It seems like it's a shill thing." I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, this is the only place that I give the whole spiel.
I get asked about that all the time. I get emails about it all the time. And it got to the point where I just got really tired of answering the emails. And then I was going to record like a recorded statement about it. And I ended up like yelling at my camera. And I was like, okay, I'm going to delete that. There's no way I'm going to post that because I'm just, I did it while I was frustrated. But but the reason that I have it there is because way back in 2020, when everything shut down and they put everything and everyone on lockdown and they tried to make us do all these stupid draconian mandates and they tried making everybody mask themselves and cover their mouths and cover their breath and all that horrible stuff that was going on. Well, everybody still wanted to have an event in 2020. And I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to happen because I can't find any place that's not going to make us do this social distancing mask wearing crap, you know?
Mhm.
And I knew nobody would want to do that. And so the only place that we were able to find that didn't enforce that at all was the Shrine Club. You know, they were like, nope, no problem. In fact, they were like, oh, honey, we don't do that here. Like, it was absolutely not an issue.
And they're Shriners, right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
Masons, so they can get away with that crap.
Right. Nobody messes with us there.
And they didn't make you wear
you have
aprons,
to
right?
go there to experience what it's like, but it's awesome. We get so much freedom there, and we didn't have to social distance. We didn't have to wear a mask. We didn't have to do any of that crap.
You don't have to
We
wear
didn't have to-
aprons or worship the devil, nothing like that.
No, nothing. You don't have to, it's not a temple. See, people email me and they're like, why is it at a temple? It's not a temple. It's a not-for-profit shrine club owned by the Shriners Club venue that anybody can go and reserve and have an event there. It's just like any other venue. It just happens to be run by the Shriners.
Karen, is it true that when you enter the Shrine Club that you have to pledge an oath to the Freemasons?
That's true. That is true. You have to knock 3 times and then say some magic word or something.
And it's $50 extra if you want to do any sacrifices, in the back. So
No, $50 discount.
Oh, that's
Discount.
right. Discount. That's right.
Not,
Yeah.
not extra.
No, seriously, the people there are fabulous. I mean, they were so nice to us, and it just couldn't have been any better. I mean, she picked really, really well. It doesn't matter, that it was Freemasons or Jesuits, or it doesn't matter who it was. They treated us really well, and they didn't interfere with it.
I never saw the people that run it. I just saw Karen and our crew. It was like an empty hall that we got. I mean, they didn't require masks, and their place was less expensive than all of the other places. That's why Karen went there, because it was in a good spot, has tons of parking. It was keeping the ticket price cheap, and it happens to be owned by a lodge.
And they stayed out of our way. And the other thing was cool is
never saw
right across from the. Oh, wait a minute. Was that the one that was the? Never mind. That wasn't the one that was across from the police station. Never mind. Wrong one.
No, that was last year when we were at the Magnolia Grand. We were right across the street from the Spartanburg Police Department.
Yeah, which ironically didn't bother us as far as I know.
No, they were fine. Remember, and then it said Black Lives Matter on the pavement. Oh, it was so ridiculous. But the Shrine Club is great. And this is the 3rd time that I've had an event there. This will be the 3rd event, because we also did Solar Return there, where we just had music and we had bands playing. It was a great time. And if you guys are afraid of of stuff like that. I guess just stay home and just
Yeah,
miss
really.
out. I guess I don't really know what to say.
Exactly.
I'm all for
exactly.
taking
The
that
people-
power away. Take that power away from them, man. Don't be
Right?
afraid of numbers. Don't be afraid of
Yep.
colors. It's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. I'm like, you shouldn't be afraid. I'm like, walk into the lion's den
Yeah,
and talk about truth. It's fun.
I agree. I agree.
It's
And-
worse to order anything on Amazon than it is to go to this event.
yeah, probably.
You're participating in nonsense, New World Order nonsense by ordering on Amazon. This has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, if you didn't know that it was a Shriners Club, you never would have known. Period. I mean, it just seemed like an everyday venue with normal people that were really cool, and they loved us. They totally did. They really liked the Flat Earthers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's actually a mural in the back that is mocking NASA. It says the Astro Nuts. And it has,
That's right.
Kind of like that. Hey, at least somebody's catching on. You heard Dave Weiss and you heard Zach. We'll go with Zach first since he's a member of the show. Zach, how are you?
doing great, Jeran. Doing great. Just, spitting and polishing all the toys and gadgets for Flattoberfest. Got some new stuff this year.
Nice.
It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see people's faces light up.
And we've got Dave Weiss always around the corner lurking. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great. Been pushing to get this new update on the app, and it always works out literally like just days before an event, a solar return, a Flattoberfest, or a conference. And I always think I'm not going to make it, and I made it. So I'm here. I'm alive. I can sleep. I slept like 5 hours last night, so that was a record.
Awesome. That's a record. I know. It is funny. You really only need 4 or 5. Less than that, I get a little bit cranky, but more than that, I'm tired. So let's start with that. Dave, why don't you show us what's going on? What's the latest and greatest with the app? I played with it a little bit yesterday with you. I thought it worked well for the at least for the phone calls or the video calls.
Yeah. So bring up my screen. You bring up my screen?
Yep. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. By the way, when you have the alert on pop, it's starting to sound like a bag of popcorn. I mean, I can't believe how many people are joining. It's nuts.
That's good. So what you're looking here is on the top left, we have there's 3 icons up there. The left one, which has the little moon and the speaker and the phone, that is a do not disturb sign, but it doesn't work yet. So if you click do not disturb, it doesn't mean you're not going to hear message alerts or anything. That's going to be fixed hopefully early this week. And then the other one, the middle one there is your status. It shows you where you are. We have the
23. That's it,
right?
That's
Well, mine isn't real because I've been going up and down. I've been using it as testing. I have a lot more.
A leaderboard. Wow.
That's right. So this is the leaderboard on people that are.
Wait, I have over 200.
Do you? No, I gave you 200 during the testing, Jeran.
Damn it! I thought that was real.
No, it's not real.
I'm so pissed.
But
now.
This shows you the top 100. And one of the things is that now with your points, you can buy the subscription. If you want to renew your subscription or you don't have one, 11 referral points, and you can purchase a year subscription. Pretty easy. If you have it, like within the year, you think you can get 11 people to get the app, bam, you got a whole year subscription. So I thought that was good because there was a lot of people that just, not that $11 is anything. I mean, in reality, over the course of a year, but a lot of people are like, hey, I'm on my parents' account or something like that, or I don't have a credit card linked up. You can do referral points that way. So that's cool. And the new messaging system is pretty epic. It's amazing. You can see when people are online, offline, when they're typing. You can send pictures. So I'm going to do a little test. We created a group here, the top one. It's called the beta test group, and there's 40 some odd people in it, I think. Yeah, there's 40 people, random people that have joined. So I'm going to start a call in there, and you guys on the panel or anybody listening, feel free to jump in and just see what it's like. So here I am, and there comes Flat Dan. We're live on Globebusters, Dan. Just no one can hear you. Is that my connection? The green thing is just my connection to my computer. And here we got a couple other people jumping on. We have 4 people so far. And Lowry's jumping on. Now, Lowry's upside down. Here's a bug. If Lowry minimizes it and then comes back, he flips over. So if you're ever upside down, just switch screens to another app for a half a second, come back, and then you'll be right side up. And then on the right there, you can see here's the list of the people. So I'll click Mama Bear, and then I'll hit the little X. And look, there's Mama Bear. There she is, behind the scenes. And I created a group called Driving to Flattoberfest. So mount your phone in the car while you're driving down to Flattoberfest. Jump in the group, and you can talk to all other random people that are driving to Flattoberfest. I think it'll be a blast. You can also create. All right, I'm going to hang up, guys. So wait, hold on. Nobody hang up. I'm going to hang up because I'm curious. Does the call end when I hang up?
No, it just says you left. You just left.
Everyone's still on, right?
Yes. How do you know how do you pick who's actually on the screen?
Well, whoever talks will show up on the screen, or you can select them and pin them to the screen, kind of just like Zoom.
To try to, David, and see if it's still. Do you want me to try to jump in, or they probably jumped out by now?
I'm still in there. There's other people there.
I'll jump in. I'll jump back in. Okay, everyone's still there. There's Jeran. Yo, Jeran, what's up? There's Hat.
What's up,
We're live on Globebusters. Nobody can hear you.
They can hear me.
Lowry. And we got some other people. All right. Well, I got it right near. I got it near the microphone. Is it coming through, or is it just going into my microphone?
I heard something or someone. I'm not sure who it was.
You might have heard mine.
Lowry, say something.
No, we can't
hear
you.
Go. All right. So everyone can have fun with that. Now, let me tell you a couple of the glitches with that. So on the top right is where the video camera. That's how you start a call, or you just click another link if somebody made it. It'll start the same call. But there's 40 people in here, and anytime someone text messages, my do not disturb button doesn't work, so you're going to get an alert. Okay, you want to talk about popcorn? Okay, it gets a little crazy. So on the top right, for now, you hit that little button and you scroll down to the bottom, and it says leave group. Right? You can leave the group, and then you're out of the group, so you won't get alerted anymore. And then you can join back in anytime you want. All right? But it's going to be like Telegram, where you can mute a group. Just don't give me any alerts ever for this group, and you can do that. So that's going to be
How many people maximum can go in a group?
I don't know. They don't know either, because I don't know. I mean, 100, more. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you could do a whole conference on it.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's
never know.
But so another thing is, just real quick, if you go back on the bottom, you have these icons here. You have my individual chats. It shows me what's going on. But if I click groups, here are all the groups that people have been created. So right now, you can create a public group, a private group where you invite people, or a password protected group. And then you have to give people the password. Everybody can see that group, but they need the password to get in. So you just click the little compose on the top right, enter group name. I'll just run task because I'm not going to create it. Select group type. So public group, password protected group, or private group. But if I hit password protected, there's a little glitch. There's nowhere, you can't see where the password is. But if I look behind where it says create group, there's a little, that's where it is. It's just an overlay, another coding thing. So if you click right above the create group, bam, it opens it up, and you can type in your password for that group. So if you're trying to create one of those groups, the private group and the password group both have the ability to, here, I'll just show you. I'll create the group, just created a nonsense group, and I go back, and nobody can get in because no one knows the password, and I don't even know the password because I just made it. And I click it, I'm in the group, and if I click the little icon on the top right, I can leave the group, or I can delete and exit. So I'm going to delete the group, and the group's gone. Right now, we're unable to delete public groups. So if you make a group, it's stuck up there until we have that ability. I'm going to make it so the moderator, if you're a moderator or an owner of the group, you can delete it. And if you haven't used the group in X amount of time, it'll delete itself. So I'm assuming, in the next couple of days, there might be hundreds and hundreds of groups on here. So if you're like, hey, I want to join Lowry's group, I'll just go into search, LO, bam, there's Lowry's group, and I'm in. If anybody wants to get into Lowry's group, the password is winning, all lowercase.
Yeah, nobody's going to want to get into Alex's group.
And I saw also,
There's a
David,
little
you can
issue when
you can record too, right? You can record the calls, like video.
Well, hold
record.
on. That's the thing.
Oh, it
when
doesn't
you
work yet?
record a call, we don't know where it goes. Nobody knows where it goes. I'm like, it's on my computer. So if anybody can figure out where the recording goes,
Oh, good. Okay.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. Well, again, as I said, there are a bunch of bugs, but this is still a million times better than what we had before. So I figured the best way to find all the bugs is to get everybody in there. Another thing is, all you have to do is a free upgrade. Just go to the App Store, the Google Play Store, go to the Flat Earth Clock app and click Update. If you don't see Update there, just open up the app in the App Store and the Update button will be there. And if you want to just delete your app and re-download it for free, you can do that also. Sometimes that helps with the install. Like if you have a bug, it's not working. If something's wrong, not working, like the app crashing after you update, just delete the app, reboot your phone, download it again for free, log into the Friend Finder, and everything will work 99.9% of the time. So it's going to be a lot of fun using that, and I think that it's going to be huge. And then also the group messaging. I have mine set for 50 kilometers. Let's just do 10 kilometers, and I have 32 people. I could send a message to 32 people. It takes a tiny bit of time to load, but it'll load, it'll send, everyone gets it, gets notified, and it's phenomenal. It works really well. So, any other questions?
Great job, man.
Nice, David. That is really beautiful.
It works in the ISS, for example?
No.
It does not work in the ISS. It needs gravity to work because in free float,
right, all right.
it doesn't work.
Oh,
So when you free float, all the dots on the map move around, okay? Because there's no gravity to hold them down, like you see them now.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense?
Okay, sorry. Totally, man, totally.
And those are just condensation trails in the sky. Just forget about it. It's just condensation.
Yeah, I was thinking in your theory, maybe it was spirits and souls and unicorns.
Oh, now you got me going.
That is more advanced theory. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah. All right, so everybody, just enjoy all of the experiments and don't leave me comments on there like, hey, I found a bug. I'm not going to see them. If anyone has a suggestion or a real issue, support at theflatearthpodcast.com. Make sure you describe what you're saying carefully. Screenshots, screen recordings always help. Username info if it's about something that's happening with your account. Because I get a lot of emails like, my app's not working. What are you going to do about it? I'm like, who are you? What phone do you have? What's not working? Just help me out a little bit. We have great customer service.
You.
And then the next update right now, like if you click on somebody that has a little chat icon, the profiles is very limited. It doesn't have a lot of stuff. We're going to totally redo the profile section, so it's a lot more dynamic. You can do a lot of things with it, and people are using this, as I said many times, as a dating app, as a true friend finder. Because think about this, Bob, and everybody, every dot on this map is literally, you have more in common with them than any dating site will ever put you together with. I mean, think about it. All of those dots. We all know about the jibby jab. We all know about the Earth not being a ball. We all are awake to all of these things. That's high 90% of what it takes to be a friend or significant other, in my opinion. And
I think no doubt that this app is amazing. It's amazing. The app, really congratulations, man.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to stick with the blue dot I already have. So I'm going to stick with the blue dot I already have.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
So all those people, all the blue dots, then believe Sandy Hook is exactly as was presented to us. That's cool.
Yeah, of course.
That's cool.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Very cool.
And if anybody is being sucked into that, just please go to stoplookthink.com, go to hoaxes, click Sandy Hook, and spend a day there. Please.
Dave
just
and I are
spend
going to do a
day
video.
there.
Let's do a video this week, Dave. We'll do it on just Rockfin only. Yeah.
All right. It has to be. I'm leaving. Thursday. It has to be before Thursday, of course, because I'm heading to Flattoberfest.
It'll be before Thursday.
All right.
All right.
Make sure you download the Flat Earth Topographical Plane, Stationary Plane, Magnetic Declination, Compass, Navigational Aid, Sun, Moon, Zodiac Clock app.
It's good.
Perfect. You know what? I was actually gonna use that name, but you've already taken it appears.
You can have it, bro.
That was hilarious when you changed the name on
Google it.
Owen Benjamin and he read the name.
That was
changed it.
he goes, "No, I know the name," and he read it
wrong.
I knew that would work too.
That's good. That's good.
And it's gonna be fun. Oh, and last thing is, a lot of people like to just take their dilly-dallying time to update. As of tomorrow morning, your app is not going to work anymore if you don't update, right? The friend finder is getting shut down. You won't have any blue dots. The app will still work, but the friend finder will not work at all starting tomorrow morning. So all you got to do is update. It's free. It's nothing to it. And
easy.
I'm adding some extra stuff on the bottom. You see there's another icon on the bottom right here, which is a coming soon trivia game, which I have some people working on questions, and we're going to have different types of games. And what else? If you have a smaller phone, on the right here, all of these buttons, sometimes they're hidden. Just go into the settings. Oh, we got another user here. Go into the settings, scroll down, and you see this bracketed area here. Just turn that off. And that'll get rid of a whole bunch of buttons, and they'll all be now that the arrow button. So you just go there, it brings you to frequently asked questions, and then you could swipe to all these other pages rather than have separate buttons for each of them, right? So there's lots of ways to customize your screen.
Dope.
And just one other thing. I don't want to just keep going on and on, but I certainly am. Scroll down when you first get the app and turn your it starts off at Celsius, so turn it to Fahrenheit if you like Fahrenheit. And the app noises are on, but us flat earthers, we're always listening to something, another podcast, another research. And when the app makes any click noise, it shuts off your audio. If you just turn off the click noises, then the app will no longer interfere with whatever it is that you're listening to as you're using the app. All right?
You thought of everything.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot, and then any of the buttons that you don't want to get rid of, don't want to see, you can remove them one by one, and that's it. And I'm really excited about the referrals to get your free subscription, because a lot of people, even though it's only $10, $11 a year, it's just a pain in the ass for some people because they don't want to tie it to their credit card, or it's on their spouse's joint account or whatever. I made it so you don't have to do that. It's easy. And
you've completely monopolized the Flat Earth app realm. It's almost as if it's in your genetics or something.
You know what? I wait. What? Austin, thank you for bringing that up. I have two proofs. Two proofs of the creator. No, two proofs of the creator. I created this app. No, I didn't. This was delivered to me. Okay, there's no way I could have done this without the creator. And then the other, even more proof of the creator, and you said it yourself when you were up here visiting with Chris. We're out on the boat and we're talking about significant others, and you were single at the time. And you go, he goes, I got a tough catch. He goes, I don't really have a job. I'm traveling around the country. I've got a broken tooth. I'm a Christian. I'm not going to sleep with a girl until we're married. He goes, there's no way I'm going to find anybody. And then bam, look what you found. You found the true flat earth model.
Hey,
Proof of the creator. Proof of the creator.
I like it.
Right? You manifested, well, you didn't manifest. You manifested her through the creator.
Saying that it was delivered to you, Dave, does sound a little bit like entitlement, like a chosen people kind of thing.
Well, it wasn't delivered to me. I worked my ass off, but I don't know how I could have. I mean, it's coming out like better than I could ever imagine, and it's just getting better and better. And this is we live in a world of intelligent design. And there's no doubt that when you tune yourself to the proper frequency, for lack of a better term, everything just communicates. This place is far crazier than we even realize, in my opinion.
And every bit of information that's ever existed has come from an intelligent mind. So the fact that there's DNA that has information in it and all of our cells have information tells us that there's design behind it. Can't be accidental because there's never no example of that.
Right. And also everyone going to Flattoberfest, after Flattoberfest, a lot of people say, oh, I saw you there, but I didn't want to come up to you. You looked really busy, and I don't want to intrude. I'm there to hang out with everybody, and just come and talk to me. If there's a lot of people talking, just hang out, right? I want to talk to everybody. So nobody, go, and it happens to all of us. A lot of people have the same story. Just come, hang out. I'll be at the park all day on Friday.
Well, it'll be easier for you this year too, because I have the other room. I have a whole room that's just for vendors and exhibitors and for tables. So there'll be a table there just for David, and if he's at the table, you can go talk to him.
And I'm sitting when I'm sitting in my chair or wherever I am, feel free to come on over, say hello.
Just stay away from him when he goes backwards and sits on the ladder. That's the only thing I ask.
Right. Hey, don't do that. And nobody can go talk to Witzit because he's going to be too busy talking to his friend Bryant.
Oh, Bryant's going on. I saw that email.
I think it's going to be awesome if I can talk to him in person.
I was going to ask if you wanted to say that publicly that he was coming, but I guess so.
Oh.
It's out now. But here, I have
a new romance born.
I have one last request. Listen, Bryant is a nice guy. He's lost in space. He's totally brainwashed, but he's saying what he truly believes. So Flat Earthers, feel free to offer information, but do not beat him up. At least the first day. Okay. And I think that, maybe some of us with different angles can talk to him, but he's there because he literally just wants to meet people. And everyone, please be nice to Bryant.
He's not bringing McToon with him, is he? Let's hope not.
No, I told him, listen, you're a nice guy and this and that, but you're hanging out with some really scummy people, and that's a problem. So, don't bring any of that nonsense.
McToon wouldn't last 5 minutes there without getting the crap kicked out of him.
Is that whose show he went on after? Was it McToon?
Yeah.
He went right over to McToon's, and so those guys are just using him. It's so sad.
Yeah,
it's so sad.
Of course.
So,
dude, I've been intellectually eviscerated him in emails for a week straight. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on in this guy's mind at this point, but
do you have papers behind that? Do you have a
I send them papers and then it still doesn't matter. So,
it's not the right published papers. You got to get the right ones.
Well, they assume the Earth's a ball, so that means that electrostatics can't explain downward acceleration.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, he's not the only globe believer that will be there. There's going to be other globies there.
What?
Yeah. It's true.
Like,
although the other one, I don't
can,
know if they want me to say publicly, so I'm not going to. But we are welcoming globe people to the event this year, and hopefully they will leave not globies.
We should set up a Flat Earth MK Ultra room where we literally go in, tie them down.
The deprogramming room.
Yeah, just 24/7 Globebusters just ingrained into their brain.
I picture the Clockwork Orange scene where they're like peeling his eyes open and making him watch the screen. Just Globebusters nonstop, 24/7 channel. Thanks, Dave. We appreciate the update.
All right, guys, and thanks. Lots of updates coming.
All right, and we'll let
see you later.
Karen jump out of here too if she wants to. Karen, you want me to play the promo first, or you want to talk to us first about the event?
Whatever you want to do, you can play the promo.
All right, we'll play the promo real quick. And
wait.
Wait.
I think we should play something before we play the promo because this event is happening before that event.
Say it again.
So I have something that I want to play before we play the Flattoberfest promo.
Okay.
Because this event is happening before that event.
Okay.
So let me share my screen. There we go. And share computer sound. Okay. So you should be able to see it. This is an event that Just Jack is having at his house.
Hold on, I don't have it. I'm not know how to get you up here. I'll figure it out. I guess mute, remove from call center. There's no way to do it.
I have a minute. Well, I can intro it.
Yeah, you can talk.
But
We're somehow right.
I don't know why it won't pick you
Yeah.
up there. You have something
So
showing on
Jack
your...
is
Oh, right here. Okay, I got it. I see it.
okay. All right. So Jack, Just Jack, is hosting this at his house, and they've been doing this virtually every Flattoberfest or event out here that Karen has had, and it's cool. And I think you'll like it. So let me know when you're ready, Jeran.
I'm ready. It's on. We're good.
All right, here we go.
Our lives depend on it. We're getting attacked by these killer pumpkins.
Yeah, to the left of the globe.
There, you just hit it.
And it went through the thing.
Oh, I need a cigarette.
How about that? Fun. Hell yeah! Globe dead.
All right. So there you have it. One thing I got to say about the people in the Carolinas down here is everybody owns an assault rifle, and they totally love them down here. People open carry. I mean, it's crazy.
That's
compared
awesome.
to any other place I've been to. So, yeah, come down, have some fun. You know, shoot an assault rifle.
I was always on the fence
Yeah.
about going back east for that event. I was like, I don't know if I would really fly back. But for that, I would fly back east. I didn't know that goes on. You should have told
Yeah,
me that ahead
man.
of time. That's
We just
awesome.
go in our backyards and shoot.
Sweet. If I did that, I'd be in jail quickly. Quickly.
That's how you know you're free.
Yeah. All right. Let's bring up the other trailer, and we will go from there. Here we go. This is Flattoberfest coming this weekend.
Flattoberfest, it's back. Greenville, South Carolina, October 22nd and 23rd. With the grand return of Mark Sargent. And live music from Chief Crow and the Flat Earth Worms. Austin Whitsitt of Whitsitt Gets It. Benjamin Balderson of Olden's Alchemy. Jason Lindgren of Secrets of Saturn and Crow 777 Radio. Marty Leet of GnosticAcademy.org. One big love. How the World Works with Cami and Zack. And new music by Austin and Kai Whitsitt. Sean Griffin of Kingdom and Context. tickets at flatearthfestivals.com.
So October 22nd, 23rd, and if you haven't attended an in-person event ever before, you got to do it. You got to do it. It's truly, I don't want to say magical, but it is something special. So go ahead, Karen, tell us anything else you want to do about it.
Flattoberfest.
Yeah, so we also have a free meetup at the park that's across the street from the venue the day before the event begins, which is Friday, the 21st. And I have that park reserved from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and it's reserved under FE Family. So if you go there, just look for that sign. It's under the big gazebo, and there'll be people there all day long. When we leave the park, right back across the street, there's a bar at the Shrine Club, and behind there, they do karaoke every Friday night. And it's a great time. So after the park, if you want to keep hanging out with everybody and you're into doing karaoke, just walk right across the street and go to the club, and we'll do some karaoke. And then the event starts the next day at noon. So you can stay up late and not have to worry about getting up and making it to the first talk at 9 a.m. It starts at noon. And that's the deal. So it'll be really cool. And we're going to have lots of stuff going on that is not on the website. There's going to be raffles. I'm going to be raffling off some stuff, some Flat Earth swag that I've gotten from Steftone, from the Deftones, Stephen Carpenter. So I'll be raffling off some of that. And Mark is going to be raffling off the 32nd degree Mason hat that he has.
Ooh.
So, yeah. And you have to be there to win it. So he's not shipping it. So
does anybody want to make a comment on this comment, or should I go off on him? But this is one of the things.
Which one?
This one here on the screen. One of the things that drives me bananas that people say, because I think it's a total psyop, that they spend billions lying to you, and truth is the most valuable thing that there is. So to say truth shouldn't cost money to me is insane, because it's the most valuable thing there is. So to think, how backwards are we that the most valuable thing shouldn't cost money to people in their minds? And I was one of those. When I first started YouTube, I thought the same thing. Truth should be free. Truth should be free, until you get in there and you realize, oh, wait a second. Everybody who does this can't do it for free. That's just not how it works. So I don't know if anybody else has any comments on that.
Yeah, I got a comment. Yeah. So truth, dude, all the people, for example, at Flattoberfest, all those people have given an insane amount of hours of free content where they expose all kinds of lies. You're sitting here watching Globebusters for free. If you want to go partake in a more epic event, well, it costs money to do that. So in order to be able to put together the events, we have to be able to actually afford to do so. So the idea that you wouldn't like rally around someone that spends that much time to put truth out financially seems laughable to me. I don't know how many times we have to cover this, but I guess some people just a virtue signal through their keyboard. But until you make content and you actually spread the truth, and you realize how long it takes, like how many streams I've been doing and stuff, like the fact people think that I should be able to do all that for free and not be able to support myself. I don't understand the concept here. It's really stupid, and this is kind of annoying.
I would only take it from somebody who had, if I could see their bank records and see that they don't eat at Starbucks, they don't eat fast food, they don't have credit card bills, they don't, like, if that person has really eliminated everything from their life and they're like, I don't think, okay, I get it. But if you're spending money on things like that and then coming to the chat to say truth should be free so I can spend money on Starbucks, then I have a little issue with it.
When you say it should be free, you're saying Karen B should spend thousands and thousands of dollars so that you can come for free? Is that what you're saying? It doesn't even make sense. Like to do this, or to get a bunch of speakers, to get a bunch of stuff put together, and to get the venue and stuff, you have to spend tons of time, effort, and money, dude.
And in fact, that the people that think in that way, they must be realize that they need to pay for the gas, right, or the bus ticket, or the transport. At least,
yeah, right. Exactly. It's a cheap
it's
fly himself.
Totally, this is ridiculous.
You guys, I had one guy email me, and he was like, it's going to cost me like $1,000 to go to your event. The plane ticket is this much, and the hotel is that much. He's like, can't you give me a discount? And I'm like, why don't you call the airline and say, your airplane ticket is too expensive and I have to go to this event. So can you give me a discount on the ticket?
Yeah, I think they'll probably tell you no.
Right.
It's crazy. And like, this is the craziest part, right? If I make a YouTube about cat videos, I can actually make like thousands of dollars.
I know.
With ad revenue. If I talk about like something that takes me days and weeks to put together just a 2-hour stream and try to give someone a bunch of information, it takes tons and tons of time. I'm censored. We're all censored, right? Where barely anyone sees you. We're all demonetized. We can't actually run ads. And it's like impossible to make money speaking the truth.
And
right? So it should go without being said, the first thing that people should do is rally behind them and put their resources behind something that actually matters. I don't even know how this is a conversation.
And I wish people knew how hard it was to research what we research. We're not like the Globe side that we can just go to NASA's site and just read from it. There's no flat Earth site that we can just go and say, what do I want to talk about today? I'll go talk about refraction and I'll go talk about circumference, and I'll just go find it and talk about it and read straight from a site. No, you actually have to do the research and speak of your own mind, which is not always easy. And it's something I get pretty upset when I see people say things like that, because I used to be that way. And then I realized that's a psyop. That's what they want you to do. Think of how much we could get done if we ever realize that strength is in numbers. For somebody who has, let's say 50,000 subs, if every one of those subs gave $1 a month, I mean, think of what that creator could do with $50,000. Think about Austin. If we gave Austin $50,000 a month, the guy would be interviewing, he'd be flying around, he'd be doing tests and experiments, and we would get so much out of that buck. But people are in the position of it should be free. So Austin, we just want you traveling the country for free. All right.
Yeah. 6-figure tour, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, well, so I just don't understand. It's whatever.
People like that are either really stupid or they're just trolls,
Or they've fallen for a
they're just
psyop.
trolls.
I mean, because I used to be that guy. So I would say it's also just naive. It's or you're falling for what you've heard before. Truth should be free. Truth should be free. Because what they do is they put that out there so that the second the creator starts doing well and says, hey, I would like to do this further. I'd like to do this for a living. And then they start asking for money. Well, the immediate label is put on them that truth should be free. Oh, now you're doing it for money. Well, yeah, everything else that everybody does to lie to you is for money. The talking heads on the news, everybody is doing things for money. And yet when somebody wants to tell the truth for a living, that should be, you don't get paid for that. That's
right.
the
And
way.
they're doing it deceptively.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're getting paid to lie and to like, I don't know. This is crazy because this is, I agree with Jeran, the biggest trick, because this is what holds back like truthers making really, really good content. Where if like, for example, I for example, have like 20 different experiments I want to do. I can't do them though. You know what I mean? Like I have a bunch of different documentaries I can't actually do them right now. I have to try to slowly put money aside if I can and try and work it out. And it's like if all these different content producers were actually supported, we'd be actually able to compete with the propaganda that's brainwashing us, even despite the censorship. So if you actually care about like getting the truth, you just found someone's video on YouTube that put a lot of time into it, right? That's how you found out about it. That's the only way people are going to find out about it, is that people put out good content. So I don't know. It just depends on like what's your motivation. I think it is to actually remain anonymous and virtue signal behind the keyboard, but
probably.
And you know what? There's a lot of us right here locally to each other. It would be cool if we could all get together and like put together something, because that's the other part of it, is doing everything on your own
right.
is really difficult. Really difficult. Like if you look at any of these high quality productions of movies and stuff that could get put out, it's not just one person. It's hardly ever just one person. They have a whole team. There's a group of people that work on it.
And it takes time, right? Like I did my response to my haters video. It's like 1 minute and 17 seconds, and it took me a while to put that 1 minute video together.
That's
and
what
then
I'm
like
saying.
even the intro to my stream, like it takes tons of time and effort, and it's draining to do this stuff, and that's why not that many people do it, and it should be supported. It seems pretty self-explanatory.
Austin, have you announced you're going to do consultations yet, or no?
I haven't.
Oh, you have not. Okay, well,
I mentioned it in passing, so it's not like it's a secret.
Well,
but
just I mentioned it in passing on my show yesterday, or Friday. So
okay,
just that I thought it was a good idea. That was all. But I think that we kind of banged that one home. So where's
I just
want to?
Can I just add one other
Please.
thing too?
Yes, of course.
Even to these people who think that they got the truth for free, quote unquote free. I guarantee you spent time. Do you consider your time free? Like if somebody wants your time for something, or somebody wants you to work on your time, do you consider that, oh, I'll just do that for free? No, you don't. You expect to be paid for your time. So I consider that time as everybody's like number one commodity, because you can turn your time and your energy into anything. So you didn't get that truth for free. You spent your time and energy to learn that truth. And, you know, some people don't. They have other responsibilities. They have full-time jobs and a bunch of children, and maybe they don't feel like they can take the time to dive in on their own, like some of us did. And so they watch our shows.
And we've been put out we've been put out online, basically killing our chances of doing something in the working world. Not that any of us would want to go back there anyway, but I'm saying that even if we had to, that's going to be very difficult, because once you take this route, you're really kind of putting yourself on the chopping block. So I think people miss that too.
In
Say again?
Search of our names in Google, and Flat Earth, Nut Job, this or that.
Yeah. Every site. I mean, I tried to get hired at doing customer service chatting for a online Bitcoin wallet, and they were happy with my interview, happy with the face-to-face, happy with my test, that I aced the test. Then they just didn't call me. And when I finally got in contact with them, like, oh yeah, what's going on? Oh, we're going another direction. I'm like, didn't you say everything was perfect? And then I finally got them to admit it was because of other things they found about me on the internet. So I can't even chat, or they wouldn't even know my name. They wouldn't know my name. It would say chat representative, and I can't even get that job because of this. So,
Jeran, hold on a second. This is changing, though. There's so many people waking up, and the way I see the world now is, if you have a business or whatever, and you're a flat earther, you're only hiring flat earthers, right? So you're eliminating Globers. Our opportunities are opening bigger and bigger. And it's just like I heard someone say it today. There's less and less Globers every day, and there's nobody switching from flat Earth back to globe Earth. So that whole job thing, that's all swinging in our favor, right? Because, you know, flat earthers can hire anyone they want, but they only will hire flat earthers if possible. So I think it's changing in a good way. You know, just like in 2015, you know, you mentioned flat Earth, you're retarded. But now you mentioned flat Earth, people are like, that's interesting. I heard something about that. Tell me more.
And you're semi-retarded.
Yeah. Whatever. We're all semi-retarded.
Halfway there.
Or darted, if you will.
Yeah, darted.
So look at it that way. I think that we are we have the advantage.
And that might be true, but for now, the way it is that it's not appealing to anyone at home. Let's say there's a great film producer out there that's even a flat earther that believes in flat earth, says, I can make great videos, but they see what I have to go through. They see what we go through. They see, and it's not an attractive thing. They don't say, oh, I want to do that. I want to get on YouTube and be a flat earther who makes great documentaries for flat earth. The reason they don't want to do that is because then you have to be like me and ask for money and have sponsors and talk about this and that you don't want to talk about. I want to talk flat earth. I want to talk about the lies and deceptions in the world, not how can I get a little more dollars in my pocket so I can feed my family this month. So to me, I think that's part of what I'm talking about. If people did pitch in and everybody who's a flat earther gave $10 a month and that was distributed between people that were doing content, then I think that it would be attractive. Then people would be at home like, oh, wow, look, these guys are nailing it, man. They're making great videos. They're having a great time. I think that's the difference. And that's why I think they do this because they make it easy to be mainstream. Mainstream life is easy. You don't have to do any research. You don't have to look into anything. You just need to watch the news, watch sports, hang out with your friends, drink beers. They made it incredibly attractive to be a normie. So that's why we did
I don't want to because I know we talked about it for a second. I just want to say one more thing. Jeran made a really good point, right? Like if you come out publicly and talk about the earth or any of these truths, then you can't. I lost a 6-figure job offer because of that. It was literally contingent upon me deleting all the stuff I had online. And this was just Facebook. This was before I even did YouTube. And it was like a really good job offer with incentives and commissions. And I would have crushed the job and I would have got to travel doing it. And I couldn't because I had publicly been talking about flat earth on Facebook, right? So I wouldn't be allowed to talk anymore about it, and I would have to delete it to keep the job. So if someone comes out and does that, which actually is basically irreversible because then you have the anti-flat earthers spread you everywhere. You couldn't delete it even if you wanted to once you did it. So basically,
But-
if we apply that mentality, no one can put their real selves out there and make content. So we wouldn't be able to wake anyone up.
But Austin, you wouldn't want that job. You don't want to be in that situation. We're holding our truth. We're speaking our truth. And whether, we're the minority right now, but that's going to change. I'd rather be in the exact situation I'm in right now with, the way people look at me or whatever, and hold my truth. And by us doing that, it's going to change everything. So you don't want that job. If you had that job right now, let's say it was high six figures.
No, he doesn't want it now, but he doesn't want it now.
Yeah,
but if we don't support him,
now I wouldn't want the job. But the point is just like, at the time it was like a golden opportunity. And but yeah, you're right. Yeah, I would rather be broke and free and speak the truth and do it all up. For sure.
And even difficult thing too is you have Globe believers who are out there and on their channels, all they do is call us grifters. All they do is say we're doing this for money. Everything's about money. And then you've got people on our side saying truth should be free. So you're getting it from both ends. It's
exactly.
It's rough.
You guys should see how much money I lost in accounts after Behind the Curve came out. I had a couple government contracts gone just like that. And, just because of that, you cannot speak truth and expect to be, very well liked anywhere. And you are going to lose money. So that's just the way it is.
So
when you unplug from the matrix and see the world the way it is, you never want to plug back in. Nobody wants to take the blue pill again.
No,
I agree.
And so, there's more and more people coming to our side. The table is going to flip, right? I know that Jeran doesn't think it's going to happen in his life or his kid's life. I completely disagree with Jeran.
I didn't say that. When did I say that? I didn't say that. Come on.
I think it'll probably flip. Yeah, I think it'll probably flip sooner than later.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close, David. I'm still saying it's going to go right down to the wire.
Everything goes to the wire, Bob, and it wouldn't be exciting otherwise.
There's so many people, though, Dave. There's so many people that are just so asleep. So asleep.
I lose faith in humanity when I
this
go
point,
outside in public.
Do you know you can still ask people if a certain something was safe and effective, and they will still say yes?
I know.
A huge percentage of people. That's frightening. It just means that all I do is watch CNBC and that's it.
Yep.
And, that's scary. So
all right, I'm gonna jump out again.
All right.
All right, much love.
It's like the bat signal goes up or something. It's the Jewish star gets put up in the sky and Dave shows up. So what else do we have? What else was I going to mention? Oh, let me see here. So I was going to talk about we called it the moon. We haven't talked about the moon one time, but I don't know if you guys saw the.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Anybody have any final comments on that? And then somebody says, "Where's it going to be at?" It's in Greensville, South Carolina. And do you want to say the
Greenville?
Thank you.
Yep. Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah. Greenville, South Carolina, at the Shrine Club and Event Center. Yes, it's a Freemason-owned facility. If that is a big deal to you, then just stay home. We're going to have a blast. We have a blast every time. It's a great time. Also, I also wanted to add that there's, like I said, we're doing raffles there. There's all going to be all kinds of fun stuff that's going on that is not listed on the website. There's going to be massage tables. There's usually a couple of massage tables there. We've got Dr. Law cooking food there. So it's going to be a really, really good time.
We got Billy Zig, who says he lost most of his clients when he published a book about Flat Earth, but he doesn't care. He's happier now, more than ever, despite the loss of income. Way to go, Billy. It's a good book, too. Anybody else have any comments? Someone talk over you?
No, the real ones know what's up, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, and let me see if I've got this over here. So, did you guys see the... No, I lost my... Go, here we go. Well, first we were talking about weather modification. Somebody brought that up. You saw that the United States has now admitted that they are doing weather modification. I know Austin did a whole stream on it, but they just this week came out, and I think Peggy Hall found some paperwork too. Peggy Hall, I'll show you this article. Peggy Hall found this article.
They've admitted it before, Jeran.
Yeah, well, that's what she found. She found some papers from more than 60 years ago, published by General Electric, called The History of Project Cirrus from 47 to 52, and it outlines how cloud particles and modifications are used to affect hurricanes. So, and Peggy Hall is going to be, she is the Healthy American, and she will be at our event on November the 11th, the summit. So that's awesome to have her. But yeah, so I mean, it's something that we've known has been going on. I mean, there's that video of NASA making that cloud. How long's that video been out? You know the one I'm talking about, where they just make it rain on that guy?
Yeah, the guy
Like 2
was
decades.
English journalist,
I
saying
haven't seen
NASA
that.
is playing.
You haven't
NASA
seen
is
it?
playing God.
Yeah, they make a huge cloud. I showed it on my stream too, I think.
Do you have a link
yeah.
to it, or what would I search to find
Yeah.
it? So, Bob.
Literally, like
If you put BBC
NASA
NASA clouds, it's going to appear immediately.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
BBC
crazy.
NASA
It's like
cloud.
it's huge, man. It's so crazy. And when I was looking into this, it blew my mind that this has been on the record since like the 40s. And then they were steering hurricanes. They admit they hit Savannah, Georgia by amplifying a hurricane and steering it, and it hit Savannah, Georgia. They admit that they've been artificially triggering lightning, that they've been they can actually use electromagnetic waves, which QE says doesn't exist, so I guess they're lying, but that they can trigger volcanoes and earthquakes with that. And this is like all publicly admitted, so it's actually very wild, like how much they've been doing this and how in the open it is. I actually have I found General Electric has like a list of all the contracts they've done with the government about modifying weather for like decades. It's insane. It's like not even close to being like an unfounded conspiracy theory. It's just like a fact.
Right. And yet they let California go through droughts and let people get nailed by hurricanes and wipe out entire cities and counties. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Bob, you never seen this video? I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it sounds probably not important. Do you
No,
hear
I
it?
don't hear any sound, but I've never seen this video.
Let me see if I can get it real quick. I'm going to try and reshare with sound, but I think there might be an echo if I do that. We'll try it. Hold on. Oh, let me try that real quick. Sorry.
So you could pass it to me and I could play it from here.
Yeah, if this doesn't work, then let's do that. But let me try. Oops, that's Telegram, not Skype. So I'm going to go share screen with sound, share computer sound. Is there echo now? Are we good?
Yeah, there's an
echo. Echo.
But if we don't talk, you can hear this.
Is that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen.
Can you hear
and
that now,
oxygen.
Bob, though?
It's water vapor.
Yeah,
we
but
can
I
hear
hear it,
the
but it's all echoey.
I'll turn it off right after.
Just our rap song. We're at the station and I'm playing it. They can't come to terms. That's
I'm giving it to
lame,
Bob. That's
they
it. No,
blamed
listen,
it.
Bob, I'm gonna pass it to you. In Skype, and I'm gonna turn this off. Stop sharing. Confirm. Stop sharing. All right, Bob. Here you go.
You are in like a God mode.
Yes. There you go.
Okay.
And I'll bring up their screen. You could start it about in the middle, I guess. Or it's not very long. I don't know how long that segment is.
3 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah, we can watch the whole thing.
All right. Hang on a second. Let me share my screen. Okay, my screen is sharing, and let me know when you are ready.
Go, you're on.
All right, here we go.
This is the shuttle's fuel tank. It may only be 130 miles to space, but to cover that distance, the engines will use 500,000 gallons of fuel, and that works out at 2 feet to the gallon. Despite the cost, however, NASA does need to test these engines once in a while. So they built this place in the wetlands of Mississippi. The first thing they installed was a huge loudspeaker, through which they played white noise to simulate the sound of a rocket.
Yeah, I'll bet.
They then sent a number of trucks in different directions out into the wilderness, and the drivers were ordered to stop when the noise levels became acceptable. This gave them an imaginary boundary line, and anyone living on the inside of it was offered a simple choice. Stay, and you'll never hear another television program as long as you live. Or take the NASA shilling and get out. No one stayed, and NASA ended up with exactly what it wanted. 125,000 acres of nothing.
They even had to move 5 cemeteries because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead. Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest.
Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you. It's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh. NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
Pretty crazy.
No, I've never seen that. Maybe Space Israel.
It's pretty explosions, pretty supernovas. You never seen that, Baba? Did we lose Bob?
Nope, I haven't. But you know what? Now I know what the big loudspeaker was for, right? Well, we knew that anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, and there's I was reading some papers yesterday. There's some connection with sound and I gotta look more into it. But I mean, with sound and temperature and levitation and all that stuff, that there's so many things are hidden from us. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
How crazy is it that the government said that they steered a hurricane into Savannah, Georgia in the 60s?
Yeah, and just people don't even care, huh? 'Cause it's been so long since then or whatever.
Well, yeah. So then their official story is, we weren't able to really tell how effective we were because hurricanes are so erratic anyway. So they shut it down. So then everyone's like, oh, they don't do it anymore. You know, and then now the Air Force has a document that says owning the weather, like weaponizing the weather by 2025. Right? Where they just admit, and you have to go to the Wayback Machine to get the document because it's like they take all this stuff down, right? But yeah, it's really crazy, man, because I saw Hurricane Ian, right, whenever they were supposed to do the launch for the little moon launch, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's convenient, and it seems like they're messing with them, man. They admit they use silver iodide, cloud seeding on one side of it, and then NASA actually went in depth studying how hurricanes actually manifest and stuff like that. So yeah, just a lot of money put into that. I think that's a kind of like with 9/11 or something. That's one of those good truth bombs where you can really grasp wow, these people have no moral compass, right? They have no limits. They think that they can just control the weather. You should probably not trust those people.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I'm having trouble, but I had found a document that said in 1915 they started doing this with balloons, releasing different aerosols into the sky just to see what they would do. So, I mean, they've been at this for a very long time.
I've got this.
Anyone see One Piece?
Hey, Kyle.
How's it going? They talked about this in One Piece. The weather, the cloud seeding kind of thing. They have this kind of a powder that they kind of mix together and they burn it, and then it makes it rain, and then it causes droughts. And they did this whole story arc on it, and that was kind of the villain in the show. One Piece was controlling this, and that way they could make it so it doesn't rain in certain places. And that was interesting.
Yeah, look at this. So this is a official document, 1971. It's talking about in response to your inquiry, talking about pursuant to specific questions containing your request, we directed our review towards the cost on the information on cloud seeding supported by federal agencies on the cost and purposes of such programs. So they go on and on about the fact that they've done this. We obtained data concerning the extent of cloud seeding conducted over Pennsylvania. So they're not saying we didn't do this. They're saying, okay, we got you the costs. And here it talks about statistics compiled by the atmospheric scientists showed that the cost for federally sponsored weather modification programs during fiscal years 59 through 70 totaled $74 million. Estimated costs of fiscal year 71-72 totaling $35 million. according to annual reports of the committee, costs for federal weather modification activities. So it's like today people are like, no, they don't even have that ability. They're not doing that. It's like, oh, well, they spent $77 million on it just 35 years ago.
Here's William
70.
Cohen, the former Secretary of Defense, in a speech that he gave at the University of Georgia. And he said, there are others who are engaging even in the eco type of terrorism whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes and volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves.
Wow.
It's real, and that's the reason why we have to intensify our efforts. And that was April 28th, 1997. So, I mean, just point blank said it.
Yeah, and of course, then there's the Air Force saying they were going to own the weather by 2025.
Yeah.
Or perhaps earlier. Yeah, it's
dude,
crazy.
Have you read that? Have you read that? It's crazy. They talk about like literally just making like triggering lightning strikes to kill enemies.
Yeah, and we've been watching it happen for a long time. I mean, and really the way that they're doing it is quite simple. They're actually steering the storms with the NEXRAD stations, right? They're pumping all of this steam into the air, and then they're hitting it with the wavefront of microwaves and guiding it to certain areas, and then basically, having it unleash over whatever area they want to, cause damage to.
Yeah,
and we've seen this happen all the time.
They put electrostatic discharges into clouds too. Like they manipulate the electrostatics of the clouds to make it rain, to make thunderstorms, to even like mess with hurricanes because you can actually migrate clouds with electrostatics, and they trigger the lightning with electrostatics. So it's like crazy. They're just literally shooting electricity everywhere and just doing crazy stuff to the weather. And then, like you said, they're on the ground creating the clouds that they're going to manipulate with other means. So it's like a very sinister idea to wrap your mind around.
I'll put this link in the chat too, because I mean it goes on here talking about they've already figured out how much they can reduce the amount of snowfall in the western United States. Can be increased by 10 to 30%. I mean, it's so sad because when you think about California being what would be the number 4 economy in the world if it were a country, it's a state, so it's obviously helps the United States. But when they go through droughts, it's hilarious to me that they know how to make rain if they wanted to. If they didn't want to see it struggle, to see food production to go down, to have these issues, then they would be able to fix these things. So
And they make big claims like being able to control the weather. All of a sudden now they are putting a mass amount of responsibility on their own shoulders. And that way, when you have the California droughts and the California fires, whose fault is that now? Before it was an act of God, but oh wait, you guys can control it now. So now it's your fault.
Yeah, they say that they can make it rain. So what are they doing in California then?
Yeah. It says right here that they're able to make it rain. NOAA has estimated that seeding individual clouds yields 100 to 250 acre feet of additional water for each cloud, and that the seeding 2 single clouds which merge can yield approximately 20 times as much water as 2 singly seeded clouds that do not merge. However, it has not been determined whether the seeding techniques developed for tropical cumulus clouds in Florida will be applicable to other parts of the country. So, I mean, this is 40, 50 years ago, 50 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I think the key is where they say, let the public know what they're doing and how they can do it, right? Mm-hmm. Because really what's going on now is they could just be causing droughts and starving out all these crops, but instead they're paying farmers to destroy crops.
Right.
Well, why would they do that? So they have to be very, very careful how they handle that.
Dude, here's another, I'll read this one last thing and I'll stop talking so much. But so Congressman Dennis Kucinich or something like that. Here's a piece of legislation he proposed, and it says such terms include exotic weapon systems such as electronic, psychotronic, or information weapons, chemtrails. It literally says chemtrails, high altitude, ultra low frequency weapon systems, plasma, electromagnetic, sonic, or ultrasonic weapons, laser weapon systems, strategic theater, tactical, or extraterrestrial weapons, and chemical, biological, environmental, climate, or tectonic weapons.
Yeah, and the laser weapons they've been using in California a lot.
Right. This one here says hurricane modification. The earliest cloud seeding experiment to modify a hurricane was conducted in 1947 under Project Cirrus, which was sponsored by Defense. The results of the experiment could not be assessed, however, because at the time the dynamics of hurricanes were not sufficiently understood, kind of meaning that they probably do get it now. To better understand hurricanes, the National Hurricane Research Project, more commonly referred to as Project Storm Fury, 1956. This project was jointly funded by Commerce and Defense. So yeah, it's all right there. I mean, anybody.
Dude, Storm Fury is where they made a hurricane hit Savannah, Georgia. Bro.
I bet you don't mention that here. Maybe they do. We'll see.
Of course they don't. Yeah, you got to go find the actual documents and saying they admit they did it like to 3 hurricanes, and one of them they accidentally made it stronger and then steered it, and it hit Georgia. So I mean, that's crazy to me.
61, Hurricane Esther was seeded, and in 63, 69, and 71, Hurricanes Beulah, Debbie, and Ginger, respectively, were seeded. According to Commerce, decreases in the wind velocity of seeded hurricanes were noted in these experiments, but the level of the decreases were within the range of natural variability. Therefore, additional research is necessary. But they're certainly doing it, and they didn't stop. Okay, they didn't just stop and be like, we're in the 80s now. We don't do that anymore.
You'd also have a testimony of someone from inside the military, like in court, like a transcript of their testimony, like admitting that they modify and steer hurricanes. So it's just crazy, man. Like it's a transcript. So it's like actually all kind of out in the open. I will say though, dude, they are deleting this so much. Like to do my weather modification stream, I had to use the Wayback Machine for hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did a segment on it several years back.
I remember
it's
when we did that.
unbelievable the way they bury this stuff.
Yeah, because Bob was showing documents that were older that were clearly spelling out exactly what was it? Strontium. There was like a bunch of things.
Strontium, barium, and aluminum being an ideal projection medium for the holograms.
Right.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This here's talking about
university and their brother was doing research on it. It was everywhere. And then it just all disappeared.
Yeah, dude, that's what's so crazy. How does a normie see, like, the Air Force made a document about weaponizing the weather, and now you can't find it? Now, if you click on the link, it's gone. You have to go back a few years with Wayback to find it. What does a normie think when they hear that, right? Like, you got to be like, well, this is weird. You're hiding it. It obviously can't be too benevolent, right?
Look here, they're saying that they've tried it with silver iodine, and even though they say silver is one of the most toxic of the heavy metals, it's not easily resolved. However, the report indicates that the use of silver iodine as a seeding agent presents no direct hazard to humans because the immediate concentrations of silver and iodine in the air and rainfall will be exceedingly small. Look that up now. I guarantee that's changed. Guarantee that that's
definitely
very harmful, and it's end up in the water. Did you see all the whales that died in New Zealand?
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah,
There's like
sad.
250 whales just beached themselves. Now, somebody said when that happens, it's always because they were doing underwater testing of some sort of explosive, and the whales can't stand the sound because they're very cognizant of sound. Yeah, sensitive of sound. So they try to get to the beach to get away from it, and then they all beach there and die. So if you
dude, that pisses me off.
Oh,
bro.
man,
Stuff like that
infuriates
pisses me off.
I'll show you.
Just
guys
think
some.
about the politics after the pandemic and everything, and how they said that there's nothing quite like a national crisis to pass legislation or something along those lines. They use that as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, no doubt. It's incredible.
Well, the excuse of national security that other countries do it, so we have to do it, right? Like that's the main excuse. Like other countries are experimenting, China's experimenting, so we have to do it. So for national security purposes. So
Look
and
how
then everyone's
sad
like,
this
"Oh
is.
yeah, seems legit."
Look at 400
it's
whales
insane.
stranded on a New Zealand beach Friday, with most of them dying quickly as frustrated volunteers desperately tried to race to save the survivors. Largest mass beachings recorded in New Zealand, where strandings are relatively common, but not 416 pilot whales swam ashore on the northern tip of South Island. About 70% had perished at the time wildlife officers reached them, and then they killed the other ones. However, he conceded the outlook was gloomy, and by late afternoon, the majority of the 100-plus whales that were refloated at high tide had swam back ashore. They're still trying to get away. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
What are they committing
Yeah, and
suicide for?
birds flying, and just dying in flocks all over the place. And they seem to be completely lost. But I think that has a lot to do with the 5G, personally.
That's sad. So who knows what
we're under attack under so many ways. It's really, really pathetic. You have to wonder, what does CERN have to do with any of this? I came across a documentary the other day, and I sent it to Brian, but it is amazing. Their stated objective is they're trying to break through to a dimension on the other side and make contact with beings there, right? And it's just so freaky that they would even say anything like that. I just don't understand it. And they have all this occult ritualistic stuff going on there, and they put it right in front of our face everywhere. It's just it's really getting really scary.
Well, that one's not the recent one. That just happened. Oh, here's the one 4 days ago. So that one was in 2017. I saw. This is the one from this week, or October 12th. What is that? Yeah, this week. So now it was 477 stranded themselves in New Zealand over recent days.
Wow,
it's insane. That's I mean, this is the saddest thing you can imagine. Why would they do that? Why would they do that?
I don't know. And whales are so intelligent.
Every
too.
animal has like a goal to live, you know, like that's why animals stay alive. That's their whole goal, right? Is to stay alive. So when an animal does that, I mean, clearly that's not that they're not trying to live by going on the beach. They know, I would think they would know that's not going to save them.
Oh yeah. Fight right there.
Huh?
That's the fight or flight in them.
Right. They just have to get away from whatever's going on, and they're willing to do what's going to ultimately be the death of them. Sad. I don't know.
That is sad.
So they call them natural occurrences. That's real natural.
Yeah, right.
Real natural.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. All right. Well, what else we got? Bob, did you have anything you wanted to talk about this week? I know we can get to the moon stuff after.
Well, yeah, just basically the reason I wanted to talk about Apollo is a lot of people say, well, you know, what's the best way to approach other people? And I think the weakest link in the entire Glober, arsenal is the moon landings, right? And it's also one of the best documented things that are out there. Absolutely. And not even by people necessarily that believe in flat Earth. But, if you can get people to doubt NASA and take a look at what they're doing, with all the stuff that we've seen them do, and just present this to normies, then you have to say, okay, why? Why are they doing this? And then pursue a logical discussion with them based on that, right? So that's why I think that I wanted to show some people some resources that if they go and they read and they watch, some of these videos and go to these web pages, that they can have a pretty airtight case and be able to essentially disintegrate any part of the moon landing conspiracy, right? So that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, I'll show them real quick, just allis.com. Now, Allis is not a flat Earth site. They are kind of weird because I think they will even claim that there's a remote control car on Mars. But mainly the reason I would send people here is just to go to the Apollo Moon button here, and you're going to get all these different Stanley Kubrick and Apollo, Stanley Kubrick and George Melis, Kubrick appendixes. You got Apollo 11 second light source, Apollo 14 second light source, and we've had Scott Henderson on the show. Here they go after Adam Runes' credibility. If you've ever seen that show, what was it called? I remember there was like some show about this guy Adam, and he would like disprove conspiracy, or I forgot what it was called. Adam Knows Everything or something. But
I don't know.
He did a whole episode on the moon landing.
Adam Ruins Everything.
Thank you. Adam
did
Ruins
a video
Everything.
on that
There
one.
you go.
Yeah.
How high the moon? Okay, so anyway, there's a lot of good stuff, and a lot of this stuff is done by PhD people. So if you get in, I don't know which ones are. You'd have to kind of go through each one of them, but some of these, if you click on them and find out who it is that wrote it, you'll usually. I wouldn't say usually. Let me see who's the writer of this one. So a lot of good evidence in here, and then you get to the bottom. Sometimes here you go. So this is Luis Ernesto Balboa, who has a PhD in physics from the University of Buenos Aires, adjunct professor. So all this stuff, he's a PhD who writes this entire thing saying that the moon landing is impossible. So
can you share screen with us?
Oh, I thought it was. Yes. Yes.
I've been watching it live. Okay.
Yes,
and also I dropped a couple links in the Skype chat that lead back over to cluesforum.info.
Okay.
And that is another fantastic resource. And also, do you remember, I think it was called Moon Movie. No, it wasn't called Moon Movie. It had moon in the title, but it was like a 2-hour outstanding documentary.
Yeah,
that
somebody mentioned it the other day.
Do you remember what that was called?
I cannot.
It was like a 3 hour, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was really long. It's
Yeah,
I thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I cannot remember the title, but I'm gonna trying to search here
American Moon?
in my
Yes,
archives.
that's it. American Moon.
American Moon, that's it. Yeah, I've got that
Okay.
somewhere, unless you guys can find it. But that's another thing, boy. American Moon, yeah, that pretty much puts it away.
I think it's on BitChute. Not sure.
Okay, let's all search for it.
And another good thing about, I mean, the things I've learned from Ollis were great. I mean, some of the things like this is a great whole expose on what shadows would do with one light source. But what's more incredible is when they show you the fact that sometimes on their pictures on the moon, there'll be like a hot spot and then the rest area around it is dark, kind of like this, right? So you got like, this is bright, but this is over here is kind of dark. Well, that doesn't make sense. That would be with a light source that's not the moon. I mean, not the sun. The sun would light everything equally. It can't light. There's nothing blocking it. There's no tree. So why would this be darker than this? It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Makes any sense. So there's a lot of little things like that you can tell. And this is what they're doing. They're drawing ray diagrams to show that it's not possible what they're showing. So Ollis.com.
Do you think they like had to rush it or something, Jeran? Right? Like, because you would think they'd be able to sit down and have people think about all this and take some years and years to.
I just think
I think
there's
they
some things
rushed
you
it.
wouldn't be able to do. I mean, I think there's some things that like just you couldn't get everything right. And they got a lot of things right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that the biggest thing is them, not doing what they would do in no gravity, which would be faster, be quicker. Your movements would be more speedy. They wouldn't be slower. Things wouldn't slow down. You wouldn't labor, and you wouldn't be able to only jump. They show a guy jumping, and he jumps like 2 feet high. Well, you'd be able to jump 10 feet high. I mean, you're talking about a person with a 200-pound, and then you have the muscle mass of a 200-pound man, but you only weigh, even with the backpack, 1/6. So if you weigh 200 plus, let's say the backpack weighs 100, so you weigh 300. Well, 1/6 of that is 50. So you weigh 50 pounds with the backpack, and you have the muscle mass of an adult male. You would be, and no gravity. So you could
it's
just
like a quarter times your weight. You would fly.
You would fly. You would jump over the lunar, the little car. You could jump from one side of it to the other. You just jump over.
Able
it.
to leap buildings in a single bound.
Yeah, he was. And then everything they do. Think of everything they
didn't
threw.
Bob Cooper even cover that like so long ago?
Yeah, I think
that
so.
his name?
Yeah, Bill Cooper.
Bill Cooper, yeah.
But
And
everything they throw.
For example, the dust.
Yeah, the dust.
The dust must be blow all over the place. Not because there is no air and they, lose suspension in the air. No, I'm talking about when they move their feet and it starts spreading all over the place. The dust come down very quickly, and if you don't have any gravity and no air, the air, at least in the simulations that I made, must be go all over the place and start, going away.
And they hit a golf ball that went nowhere. They threw things that went nowhere, and nothing showed what you would expect to see. Why didn't they throw a football from one guy to the other from 200 yards away?
And for me, something that they could still make it in the ISS, but nobody drops water, for example.
Right. Yeah. And there's so many things wrong with it. I mean, I still think one of the biggest things, and Dave Weiss and I used to talk about it, if you were the first people to ever go to the moon and you landed there and it was stressful or whatever, and you got out, the only thing you'd be talking about is the freaking Earth. You'd be pointing at it. Look at the Earth. Look how far we've come. Look what we're doing. Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong don't say the word Earth in their entire time on the moon. That's crazy to think that the only way you would do that is if you forgot to say it because you're on the Earth. That would be the only possible way I can think of. How would you not mention?
Because they never really looked at it.
No, because it's not there.
They
right?
should have had a big giant picture of the Earth up there.
Right. Why wouldn't you
just
put the camera
while
on
the
that?
astronauts were doing it. Yeah,
Right.
just so they could think, hey, I'm on the moon. Let's mention the Earth over there.
Right. It would be the most incredible sight you've ever seen. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be the most, to land on the moon, be able to look back at the Earth, which is going to look 4 times the size of the moon in our sky. The moon looks pretty big when it's full. You'd have a full Earth there. I mean, it would be incredible. You couldn't help but stare at that, point it out. And it bothers me that we treat these guys like heroes, and we actually really believe that they're like so stoic and that they went there and they didn't even care about being excited. That when somebody wins the Indy 500, they're celebrating, they're jumping all around. Well, they just drove a car in a circle for 4 hours. So These guys actually went for days and traveled so much further than anybody had ever been, landed successfully. Where's the celebration? Where's we're supposed to believe these are scientists. They're men that are of science. They don't get excited. They don't get nervous. They don't do it. They're different, Jeran. They're like gods.
Well, look at the NASA headquarters every time that supposedly another spacecraft land on the other
Well, those guys,
planets.
yes.
Yeah, they go nuts.
They go nuts, man.
But not the scientists out there on the moon. They had work to do, dust to pick up.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So anyway, allis.com is a great place to go to for lots of this stuff. There's all these things about reentry, Hubble telescope trouble, Gagarin, not the first astronaut. I mean, this is a great story. I don't know if they have the documentary up. One of the great documentaries I've seen is the Lost Cosmonaut, and they talk about the fact that Russia lied the whole time about who was going to space. They put fake people up in front of people's eyes and said, "Okay, this guy's your first guy," but there had already been people that they've tried sending that died. Animals that died. I don't know if that's what they're talking about here. 3 Soviet pilots died in attempts to conquer space before Gagarin's famous flight. So they were even doing this thing where they would send a bunch of people until they then faked it going correctly, but they killed a bunch of people. In that movie, The Lost Cosmonaut, they even show pictures of astronauts, and then they'll show you the real picture that has 2 or 3 extra astronauts. They just erased them. They just erased them out of the picture and then presented that to the public, and the public never knew that there was 3 other guys there that they killed. Trying to, it's just insane.
So the question is, what were they really? I mean, did they really shoot someone up trying to go to space and they die? Like, what happened? Did they hit?
Yeah, I'm guessing that they did. I don't know, or they tried something. Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
about
they supposedly sent animals up too, and most of them came back dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like,
So
I mean,
what do you
where did
think?
they go? Right? I mean, that's the question. I mean, I don't.
That's a good
I don't
question.
know.
So
I guess we don't know the answer because there could be somewhere you could actually go. Like, I still leave it very open that they may be actually doing something up above us, right? Like, there may be
They
some
can get
type
into the
of
water
like,
or something.
yeah, like alternative realm, for lack of a better word, right? Like,
Well, did you ever think it was weird that they turned the shuttle upside down? I always thought that it was weird in the way the bottom's shaped. I always thought, like, are they surfing on the water at the top? Because it's almost like a boat, right? You turn it upside down and then you're like floating on the water, like you're on the boat. That I don't know. I just always thought it was weird. Why would they ever need to take the shuttle and make it go upside down? If people didn't know that, the shuttle flies upside down the whole time in space. It doesn't fly right side up.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. You guys have seen like quantum locking or magnetic levitation.
Yeah, see, I've been thinking there's
Yeah, I
something
think
like
that they're
up there
doing
like that.
something like that up there personally.
Well,
Like,
and-
I leave that open for the ISS too.
And Ira believes that too. I mean, Ira thinks that what's up there is some sort of really cold temperature. And if it is really cold, then you could do quantum locking with any device and then have it stick like that little disc that goes around that track.
And then you could go insane speeds. If it's superfluid, it has no resistance. And depending on like exactly what, if you're in the Earth's magnetic field, I mean, yeah, there's really no telling what you could do up there, right? Like, I think the ISS might have something to do with that as well. I think that they may be actually doing something that's pretty crazy that would blow our mind, but it's just clearly not what they're saying it is,
Right.
nor is what they claim up there is actually up there.
And there's no reason to turn your brain off to that anyway, to say like, oh no, that's not possible. No, well, it's worth keeping your mind open.
Yeah. I still think the ISS is a hologram. I really do. I'm almost certain of that. They have it projected across the moon, the sun, all kinds of stuff are up there. And I think that the ISS is just another hologram. And like I said, your darting video, Jeran, really made me realize that. It's like that is something that is not on a very good linear tracking projector. And so it would jump back and forth because you couldn't step it down far enough. So I really do believe that it's a hologram.
So the Glober response, when I mentioned that the ISS could be a hologram, they're like, you couldn't have a hologram in front of the sunlight.
Right, that's it.
And I'm like, yeah, actually you can. You can have a hologram. Like Cami's done it. You can make like a little moon hologram and you can look at that moon right in front of the window with the light coming through it. Right? Like you can definitely still see a hologram in front of light. Like using a polarizing lens, right? Like
exactly.
Definitely still have a hologram.
So I have to say, recently Simon Dan just did this video trolling TikToker that was really just pointing out a bunch of NASA's flaws. And this TikToker did a really great video showing them adjusting the lighting in the background, and I've got that in the chat here that you can share if you want, where you can watch them adjust the lighting. They pan the camera and then they like dim the lights in the background, and Simon Dan's response for that was, "Oh, well, that's just the exposure setting adjusting itself." I'm like, you think they had automatic adjusting exposure settings back in those days? And so I just thought it was hilarious.
They were
Just,
using light meters back in those days. Get real.
yeah, I'm like, they've got automatic cameras back then, really? That's your claim? And so, yeah, it was just really funny. And I think that was on the Clock app recently too, is where they had the professional photographer who really knew his stuff about the kind of cameras that they said were out there on the moon. And he's just saying, yeah, they might have gone up to the moon, but not with these cameras. No, definitely no. There's no possible way that these cameras ever would have made it. And yeah,
Well, yeah,
that was
people
a big
don't-
exposing thing to him. Is the camera just kind of qualities, just it didn't match.
Yeah, people don't realize that our cameras today have more technology in them, more computing capability than the lunar lander. So the cameras that they used were, they were very, what do you say, primitive maybe?
Primitive, yeah,
Well, we
totally
can-
primitive.
I have this
They
up
didn't
here.
even have automatic light exposure at all.
So this is a great video that just came out this week. Now I lost it. Hold on. Go ahead, keep talking. I'll find it. It's a guy who was talking about the cameras on the moon. Let me find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're saying something about that.
I don't know.
It was
why
just
I-
on the Clock app recently. So
And I haven't seen
Okay.
Simon Dan's video either. I tend not to watch that.
Yeah, he's an idiot. I tend not to watch any of them.
Oh, here we go.
but just
I
hearing
have
his whole
never
response, that
seen-
Hey, everybody.
there's automatic cameras on the moon at the time. That was worth seeing. It made me laugh.
So this guy's name is Gary Fong, and he is Gary Fong. He's the Gary Fong channel, 173,000 subscribers. So I'm world famous photographer who photographed with Hasselblad cameras for over 20 years. I was sponsored by Hasselblad and a lecturer at Hasselblad University. I also started up and ran Pictage Inc. at the time of the largest professional digital photo lab in the United States. I photographed famous celebrities, politicians. So he's done all these things, and he doesn't think that it's possible we went to the
Okay,
moon.
so that's completely wrong. But this puppy is screwed in and dialed in.
Well, he's in good
didn't
company
make sense
here.
to me. And again,
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Oh,
if you
you
were
can't
a
hear me.
race
You don't
car-
have audio on yet.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to Bob to play. Start about 9 minutes, Bob, and play for maybe 2-3 minutes. I will pass it to your Skype. If I can find Skype over here. There we go. There you are. I'll get that figured out next time I'm in charge and make sure I can figure out why it's. I think I got to press this button on my mixer.
And I think it's so hard for people to take that step of technology because they weren't around.
Right.
I mean, I lived through the 80s. I still remember a lot of it. I remember the touch tone phone. I still remember rotary dial phones, things like that. We didn't have any cell phone. There was a wire in the wall, and that's how you talked on a phone.
I
That
love
was
it.
it.
The 80s was great. Remember, you used to be able to pull up to somebody at a stoplight and ask for mustard? 80s were fantastic.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
What happened? This is a good old days.
God. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Let's play for a couple minutes.
blurry, but ridiculously overexposed. What they should have been was locked down at 1/250th of a second at f/16. Okay, so that's completely wrong. But this puppy is screwed in and dialed in. That didn't make sense to me. And again, I'm talking about if you were a race car driver and you got in and said the tachometer only goes up to 1,000 RPM, you would think something's really weird. Now, why is it like that? Are they signaling you with something, or was Hasselblad just like, whoa, we just blew it so bad? It just doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. But also what really doesn't make sense, and I'm going to ask you this, just common sense here. If NASA publishes that in direct sunlight, the temperature on the surface of the moon reaches a boiling 250 degrees Fahrenheit, while nighttime temperatures in other words, when they're on the dark side of the moon, go down to minus 208 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. 250 degrees will boil water. You've got slide film. That, I don't know if you've ever left film. So many of you have never even experienced film, but if you've left film in a glove compartment on a hot day, you'll expose the film. Okay, so not only will you expose the film, but the film can decrystallize and melt. Regardless, that it's just not going to be good for the film to be shot or in an environment of 250 degrees. And this source right here is NASA itself. Okay, so NASA is telling you that the temperature on the surface of the moon is a boiling hot 250 degrees. With that, we're going to take a non-insulated camera and walk around on the moon, and it's not weather protected for dust, which would completely ruin the camera, the shutter mechanism, and everything like that. And this is what really I thought.
Hey, Jeran, did this guy run that boiling point past Oakley?
I'll check.
All right, no problem. Just
They
wondering.
never said that. They've never said that. You're wrong.
It's just
You
heat.
have a problem.
Heat does it. Heat.
I'm thinking about all those VHS tapes that you always used to see over at Blockbuster that were all completely melted because someone left it in the car.
All right, I remember that. Yeah, the whole tape would be melted, like the whole cassette itself. Garbage.
Yeah, the whole cassette, just because someone left it in the car. And yeah.
Yeah, he made a great point about the dust. I never even thought about the dust. The dust on the camera. I mean, same thing with these cameras on this remote control car on Mars. They tell us that there's constant dust storms, yet these cameras just operate perfectly for tens of 20 years. I mean, it's just insane.
Oh yeah, the rovers, and they clean themselves automatically. They get car washes up there.
Yeah.
It's full service.
Yeah, they got a full service car wash there. It's pretty cool.
Okay, let's continue.
That was weird. It said the film had a S-tar polyester base, which had a melting point of 254 degrees Celsius or 490 degrees Fahrenheit. So anyway, I put this up here and I said, this is really weird, everyone. But, as a professional photographer, how could they have ever brought back slide film after an excursion on the surface of the moon for about half an hour in boiling temperature, hot enough to boil water? I put that on, unfortunately, this wound up on Kennedy Space Center's thing, and it wound up on my Facebook, and I put it on there, and it had to be 1,000 angry responses.
We know about it.
Okay.
You can keep going.
So I just want to share this with you because you got to see, I'm starting to realize what's called confirmation bias, where people they look things up to try to confirm their bias, right? Okay, so this guy here writes, nonsense, there is no temperature in space. NASA just said there's 250 degrees.
That is just stupid.
Yeah, but
I mean, how do
any
you
answer
even
they can get,
address that?
Right. No temperature in space. It's like, well, yeah, there's no air molecules to collect the temperature, but if there's something in space, then that something gets hit by the sun. Hello.
It's bizarre. All right, let's continue.
Good.
Temperature, but I do understand what he's saying. Out in the middle of space, in a vacuum, where there is nothing for radiation energy to energize the molecules, to rub them together, to create heat, which is called radiation. It's thermodynamics. So there's three ways to heat an object. One is radiation. Second one is conduction. And the other one is convection. So conduction would be just touching things together, right? So you touch your hand on a hot plate, and that's conduction. And it's, wow, that's hot, okay? Convection is when there's a liquid around that actually lifts the temperature or transfers the kinetic motion of this excitation energy of rubbing molecules together from one object to the other. So this guy looked up something and said, in space, there's no temperature because it's a vacuum. This is correct because there are no molecules to rub together. Bravo, you're so smart. That's not the case here because a camera is an object that has molecules. So when it is exposed to radiation energy, guess what? The camera gets hot. So this guy says the temperature of an object in space depends on irradiation density, albedo. Albedo. I had to look that one up because very few people know what albedo is. And albedo basically means the reflectivity of an object such as a piece of paper or planet or whatever. So it's albedo. Hey, baby, you know, I'm so smart. I like the albedo of your white dress. Anyway, okay, so to increase albedo, the camera was covered by a white envelope. Oh, really, was it? Where did he see that? This greatly reduces the temperature of the camera. But if it's in space, the camera has no temperature, according to you. Water, for example, boils at room temperature in a vacuum. There is no temperature in space. Water boils at room temperature in a vacuum. Smart guy. And then, is it the same guy? No, a different guy says, well, the temperatures went even higher, maybe 340. The thing is, being actual scientists, they use the Kelvin scale, which you've never even heard of. Really? That's kind of weird. I have a degree in pharmacology from the University of California. You've never even heard of, which makes 250 about 9.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So 340K is a bit warmer than 9.5 degrees at 170 degrees Fahrenheit. As to the length of the lunar day, have you ever seen phases of the moon? All you've got to do is look at the thing, as people have been doing for millennia. You think you're sticking it to the man when really you are just displaying astounding levels of ignorance. Oh, I've never heard of the Kelvin scale. So here's what he was saying. It's like he's saying it's 250 degrees Fahrenheit, but because they're scientists, they use Kelvin, which is therefore about 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and so it wouldn't have even gotten hot. Okay. So I said, okay, so this is like me saying I weigh 180 pounds, but since I live in Canada where we use kilograms, I actually weigh 82 kilograms, so I'm really light. I said, that's what you just did. You changed the units, reasoning that K is what scientists use, but kept the value the same. Okay, so that's like going to the doctor and the doctor saying,
that's
your
good there. If you,
temperature
I don't remember what else he
is
says.
98.6 degrees.
He goes into it in detail. Good.
I don't know how anybody's brain could be so screwed up that they would make that kind of an association, right? Change the measuring unit and think that has anything to do with anything.
Are they children? Maybe
it's I don't know.
And by the way, for example, today in the conference of Felix Van Gardner, he again mentioned the way that they put the cameras, because at only 35 kilometers up, there was no air, there was no convection, there was no any dissipation, and they create these special boxes where they fill with helium, and they put the camera to trying to compensate that environment. So when for example, one of the things that caught my attention was that before they go to the actual plan and start working on the project, they discuss about streaming live, because they was worried about that maybe he dies on camera, and we cannot allow that in trying to transfer that into the Apollo missions, for example. But the way is, only at 35 kilometers they create this special box to put the cameras to work properly, and this guy went to the moon in these conditions, and they just take pictures with the I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, this is crazy. They must be create another box, a special box to put the camera, and because we are discussing the photography camera, but let discuss to the film, the TV camera also transmitting live in full color without any delay.
So what do you guys think would happen, honestly, if we went up to alleged space, right, and we're in our spacesuit, and we took our glove off, right, and supposedly it's nighttime, whatever, minus 450, but there's no air molecules to, cause any heat convection.
No, the first problem.
What would we feel?
The first problem is the the almost zero pressure. You're going to boil.
Well, our hand
immediately.
Yes,
that is the first problem, not the temperature.
And has anyone ever seen an astronaut in a vacuum chamber?
Never.
Me neither.
Well, except for the first guy that
Oh,
passed
yeah, the guy that
out.
passed out. I mean,
His tongue boiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had ballers try to give them to me. So, because I've asked, I have the resources of all the zealots, and they don't have anything. They have a person that's like sitting in the room with them. So I'm like, okay, obviously that's not a vacuum, and it shows it's just like low pressure. It's not even like a real vacuum chamber. So they have nothing they looked for except for Soviet Union propaganda films.
Yeah, and that's all.
Yeah, and they never put. I mean, and don't understand me, but they never use, or at least they never show public animals inside those
No, good point. No.
vacuum chamber. And supposedly no, they send monkeys, they send rats, they send dogs up into space, but nobody see what happened. Like
I bet it's because it's very gruesome.
Of course.
The only thing we've seen is the parabolic
they
flights.
use rats. They use rats every second of every day.
Yeah.
In the pharmaceutical
And not only
industry,
it
just
wouldn't
in
matter
that.
anyway.
And
It wouldn't matter anyway because of the fact that Sandusky didn't even open for several months after the Apollo missions, so they couldn't have even tested them.
Yeah, they would. The only way they would have been able to test anything is just on parabolic flights. I've seen them take cats up there and do dirtball things with cats, throw them around in the parabolic flights and watch them float because I forgot whether they either right themselves or they don't. And I think they do up there as well.
Well, that still wouldn't help them, right? That's 10 to the -6 anyway. So it's like, even if it worked there, if you're like, okay, cool, let's go to space.
Yeah, so
that
different.
would be so stupid.
Yeah, very, very different. Kyle, did you want us to show that clip or the link?
Go for it. Yeah, it's funny. It's worth
Are we
seeing.
done with this one, Jeran? Or
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
finish it up?
I put the link in the chat.
I got a timestamp to it, so it'll open right to it. You got to see it.
People can watch the whole thing. It's a good video by that guy.
All right, moon photography. Wait a minute.
No, the one above it. Yeah, there you
the Sideman down one. Okay, start from the beginning, Kyle.
No, where he said it was timestamped.
Yeah, it's all
144.
timestamped. It's good. Yeah.
All righty then. Here we go.
You could like rewind it just like 5 seconds though if you want.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go back about there. Okay. Here we go. Oops, I'm not hearing it now.
We got no sound here either.
Yeah, you know what? It didn't like the screen jump. Let me stop the sharing and reshare it.
This flat earther won't leave NASA alone. That's the title of the video that Simon Dan made.
Yeah.
What? Please leave NASA alone. Really, stop bugging them.
Okay, let's try this. What the hell?
I don't know. I don't hear any sound.
It might be silent on that part. I don't know.
Okay, let me play it for a second. Skip up here.
A glaring error like that,
all
or a compression.
All right, so we'll let it there. There's apparently no sound here, so you can listen to me.
All right.
Wah, 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 wah.
So,
Or the camera is set on auto exposure, and when the camera pans from a darkened area to a lighter one, it automatically dims the exposure.
Automatic exposure settings. Really?
Was that an Apollo mission he was talking about?
Yeah. You see all the astronaut. It was just that part. That was it. But he's going to go on and kind of troll some other things. But he's just showing the footage from the TikToker right now.
Yes, well, that is.
I just wanted to point out that one about the exposure settings. Just hearing him talk about that.
Well, yeah, you know, one of the documentaries that I was watching said that they never took a light meter to the moon, which is absurd, of course, because how can you use the Hasselblads without that? You have to get those preset. And not only that, then they would have seen that the light would have to been 4.7 quadrillion lumens, you know, coming off the moon.
Yeah.
And they just, you know, it's unbelievable. They have it botched on so many areas. Okay, let's continue.
Oh, he said that was it on that one.
Exactly what?
Said what?
Kyle said that was all he was showing us, was just that part.
Yeah, it's just you had to see the footage of them actually like adjusting the light to it, and you had to see his response because it was just priceless. Just the automatic exposure settings.
So, Bob, I'm going to give you something I wanted to show you from Apollo 16 that I think I was going back in my mind and kind of thinking, what are the things that really, because it's one of the things I would bet anything on that we haven't been to the moon. And, you know, I was like, okay, what things kind of took me over the top? So I'll put this in the chat for you because I'm going to show you, they're in the go-kart, right? The little thing on the moon, the driving thing. And there's a portion of it where clearly you can see that they're driving over gigantic rocks, huge rocks. And I want you to listen to the guys talk to each other. There's not a moment of like inflection in their voice that would be required of driving that little moon buggy over gigantic rocks. You couldn't do it in a car today. You can't, if you were driving over rocks, you couldn't talk to your friend and just be normal talkers.
No, you'd be like,
right. So let me see exactly where it is. I believe it's at, I thought I had the time here, but I don't have it written down now. Let me find it. Go to about, let me find it here. Okay, that's right before they get going. Maybe 146. Let me see if I can find the exact spot where they're driving through this minefield. Maybe it's a little further.
144 is about, let's see. Do you see it?
That matter. No, I'm looking at something right now. I'm just trying to find the right time because I can't find it while I'm watching it.
I'm sitting on 145 right now.
Are they driving or no?
No, it's just showing a dark picture of the moon.
Okay, maybe it's at 20. Let me see where this is. This is at 203, but it doesn't look like the one I'm talking about. They're driving kind of sideways there. I'll find it 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't look at yours real quick. I'll find it real quick. But you can kind of search around there. That's just a bunch of stuff from Apollo. Them being on the moon. A lot of the fall downs, a lot of the wires is from that mission where they're clearly on wires. Let me see where this is. There's that Grand Prix one. I think it was right after that. And let's see here. Oh, maybe that's it. Right about
Did you mean an hour and 46 minutes instead of a minute 46?
Yeah, hour 46.
Oh, that's the problem. All right. Oh, there we go.
Actually, it's a little bit back further, maybe 142-ish. And I'll go look at yours. Yeah, go to 142 and 142 exactly. Start there. And then watch what they're driving over and listen to the guys' voices that are talking. Remember, these are the astronauts that are on, and you've seen that little rover. It's a little Jeep frame. There's no suspension. There's nothing that's going to keep it a smooth ride. That would be the most rinky-dink ride ever. It'd be like being in a go-kart. You ever driven a go-kart? Have you ever driven a go-kart over rocks? Probably not, because it would be extremely jarring to do that. So go ahead and play that, and I'll bring it up for everybody.
All right, here we go.
Skype.
Mechanic in nature.
That's going to be a steep slope up there, John. I believe it is, girl. Have stone. Yow! Woo! Man, that's a great big skid.
Look at they're jumping.
We're doing 10 clicks, Tony. Boy, it is something. It's really something. You're still going 8 clicks, though, John. We're right on. Hey, that was super. That wheel just left the ground. It's a loftus ride out there, bro. I love it. It's great. Tony, it doesn't feel like we're climbing, but we've been climbing for quite a while here. I just looked at the pitch meter, and it was pegged out a minute ago. Wow. Man, we're really going up a hill, I'll tell you.
Watch the ground here.
Yahoo! Boy.
And you left the ground again.
Houston, the best idea I can give you of what this looks like is it looks like about halfway up
Listen to them talking.
To that crater that we went to out of the
their
Nevada
voice
test
is
site.
not doing any bouncing.
Anything.
When
Anything
you're
at all.
bouncing around, listen to me right now. I'm just bouncing up a little bit in my chair. You can tell in my voice.
And look at those rocks. Those rocks are gigantic. They're not like little pebbles. So you would definitely not be able to talk normally without any inflection in your voice at all.
Even on a dirt road, just a nice dirt road.
Yep.
You know, if it's got some grooves in it or whatnot, and you're trying to talk, you're going to hear it in the person's voice. This is
and he's saying, "Oh, we left the ground." So you'd be going, you know.
Yeah, if that thing flew like that, they showed it jump. Like it's clearly just a projection screen with this little thing in front of it, and they're sitting in front of a screen. So they're trying to act like they're doing the things that you would be doing when you're driving in that path, but you forget to do the visuals. And this is not this. Somebody can't take this. Is the actual footage of them driving, the live footage. This is what they were. So you can't say, oh, well, it's because of this is them driving at that. And you can keep watching. It's about another good couple minutes, I think. Look at these rocks. Look how fucking
I've never seen this
all over the
I didn't
place.
know this existed. This is so funny to me.
We lost the sound, Bob.
Oh, I turned it off. Okay, let me bring it back up.
And rewind it just a little bit, because look at these rocks they're going through. You wouldn't even drive through that.
Like a
mechanic in nature.
So ridiculous.
Tony, the best idea I can give you what this looks like is it looks like about halfway up to that crater that we went to out at the Nevada test site. Man, I tell you, I've never seen so many blocks in my life. Boy, you just can't believe the blocks. The block population on survey, what is it, 50%?
Look how much is going around.
I was estimating 60 to 70. Yeah. Almost like a freshly plowed field with that's been rained on.
Okay, you might look for a fresh crater that would punch through that array material in the Descartes.
As the EVA progressed,
Look at that thing. It's all
the
over
terrain
the place.
continued to defy earthly expectations.
Why would he say like it just finished raining?
I don't know. It just, to me, I mean, that if anybody can watch that, and there's no excuse. It's literally impossible for a person to sit in a car or a go-kart driving over rocks to talk normally. So,
and how easy would that be to fake? I mean, you don't see them, you don't see the lander. They could be sitting in a theater somewhere watching this and talking.
Yep.
While
Did
it's
you just
being
say
recorded.
just like in the Nevada test site? Did he just say that?
Did he say that?
Yeah.
I think that those astronauts all tried to say things that you hear when like Buzz Aldrin says something about the cue cards, and he's like, "No, we're going to leave that to the We're going to leave that to the professionals." Well, who's the professionals that use cue cards? Actors.
Right. And remember Paul on the plane with his buddy, I can't remember his buddy's name that did all the research, but they were showing how everything was wet, right? The flag was wet, their uniforms were wet, everything was muddy.
Yeah. I think that was Scott Henderson, the guy from All
Windows.
right?
I showed
Scott
the video.
Henderson, yeah, that's who it was, yeah.
Keep going, because I think there is, and if anybody can find it, I don't know which mission. I've seen before that they're driving, and then all of a sudden there's like this raining of those rocks. That I don't know why, but there's like rocks flying at them, and they're doing the same thing. They talk completely normal through it. So that's why I said I can bet that this never happened.
Here we go.
As the astronauts near the top ridge of Stone Mountain, the layer of loose soil and regolith only got thicker. By the summit, they were sinking into the surface nearly 10 centimeters.
Oh, 10 centimeters.
Here they were, some 150 meters higher in elevation than where their LEM had landed. The pair were treated to an absolutely stunning view of the valley below them to the north.
Stunning.
So stunning. Just great.
And it's a beautiful sight.
Well, maybe that was it for the
It's
driving.
literally not.
Okay, we copy that, Josh. Now, sure enough. I mean, the material is not white. It's just the same as it. Rat.
Come on.
What is that?
Wires. Rewind that a little bit.
That
Bob.
was the biggest one that woke me up. Stuff like this. When I saw that, when I was like 13, I saw the dude like bounce up like that. I'm like, okay, that's impossible. That's physically impossible.
And remember,
so.
look at the light fall off. What is it called again? The inverse square law. Look how dark that is. Look how dark the moon is. It should be 65,000 times as bright as we see it from Earth. That's if you're 1,000 miles away. Sorry, it should be like millions of times as bright.
Dude, how does he just get pulled back like that?
Yeah. I don't know. And I think, what is all that? Yeah, I don't know.
They got the right
Another
stuff.
crater.
Yeah,
Didn't
really.
you see that movie?
Sure do, yeah.
The astronauts were combing the northern face
Still
of
looking for
Stone
those
Mountain
pitch black
like
rocks.
forensic investigators. Their
So
eyes well trained to hunt for rocks.
There's
that
the
were
proof, by the
rounded,
way.
not angular.
So you can see where they went.
Volcanic, not impact. Unfortunately for the scientists who eyed their progress back on Earth, all the training in the world could not produce what was not there. Nonetheless, the pair were still making incredible findings. Brown, rusty-colored rocks, suggesting the presence of hydrated oxides of iron. Perhaps even evidence of water on the moon. Evidence that would remain controversial for many decades.
No, you never even mentioned that. They never mentioned that until recently. Now they're going to try and pretend that they did find water on the moon back then. Wow. Unbelievable. It's crazy. But yeah, there's I think that they call like the Apollo Grand Prix or something. There's a couple of those videos of them driving around. If you haven't seen footage like that, I suggest, try to find the surface journals and all the videos. I think I've pretty much seen it all one time or another, but there's so much wrong with the driving stuff, and you heard it. They're not making any noise. I wanted to show you, Bob, I'm going to give you a link to the NVIDIA. Did you remember when NVIDIA disproved moon hoax theories? I don't know if you know.
I do indeed, yes.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, and I think you talked about it too. But the weird thing about it is the guy gets up there, first of all, and he starts talking about what heroes these astronauts are and how great it is and everything. But there's some people who have a conspiracy. So we wanted to do an unbiased test. It's like, you just got done calling them heroes, dude. So I don't think it's a very unbiased test. And then they explain the test that they did. And basically what they say is that they kept playing with the dials until the albedo was bright enough to light Aldrin, and the reflectivity. So they basically changed the parameters until it matches the pictures that NASA gave them, and then they call it real. That's not how you prove something's real. You don't even know. No. You don't even know what the albedo is on the moon, and you're just going to claim because you turn it up a certain amount. And they're talking about one photograph. That photograph of Buzz coming out of the LEM, which should be in darkness, right? Should be in shadow. But I'll show you that link here shortly. I don't think there was much else on that.
Well, still, I don't think people realize that in order for the moon to make it here and be at its 0.1 to 1 lux, that it has to be thousands of times brighter than daylight is, even on Earth. That, yeah. And they just ignore that. It's like, look, the math is not lying. This is exactly what it's telling us, and there's no way that it's the same hue, same brightness, same everything, 250,000 miles away. That's absurd.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I made a TikTok of it the day before yesterday or so, talking about the one video I do where I go through the moon and show that it's 65,000 times as bright at 1,000 miles from the moon. And then I show a picture of the moon from 800 miles out, supposedly, and it looks gray and dark. I mean, it wouldn't be seen from Earth if it was 250,000 miles away, if it was that dim lit. I'm going to put this in the chat, Bob. This is the NVIDIA. Looks like.
Oops. What happened to it?
Did I mess up?
Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
Oh, wait, what's playing right here? What is this? Turn the volume on.
That's that same
Oh,
movie.
we're back at the same spot? Oh, 142. Okay. Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was
this one.
Yeah, I thought it was later on. So anybody go check that.
Let's bring this one over. And here we go.
Yeah, you can start it from around the beginning right there. That's good right there.
Started from there? Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Just to kind of hear this guy first talk about how great these guys are and then say, oh, I'm biased.
Okay, here we go.
Got into the lunar excursion module called a LEM and made their way down to the moon.
Look how great the story is.
The journey took another 2.5 hours. It was apparently a lot harder than they expected. With only 40 seconds worth of fuel.
Oh, the great stories.
Neil lands.
Sorry.
Oops, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. I was just commenting. I'll keep my mouth shut.
Oh, no. I was saying I don't think you're showing it live. I'm just seeing the
you're right.
Globebusters
I'm sorry.
logo.
You're right. Thank you. No, I was just making comments because just listen how this is all a story, right? It's all a storytelling. It's all about the lore, the American pride, the ingenuity of these great men. And then he goes on to say, so we wanted to do a test to see if we really went to the moon. And we did an unbiased to say, shut up. You just got done basically blowing them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Unbiased.
Okay. All right, now let's try it.
And made their way down to the moon. The journey took another 2.5 hours. It was apparently a lot harder than they expected. With only 40 seconds worth of fuel, Neil lands the LEM on the surface of the moon. Michael Collins orbiting the moon, waiting for their return. Shortly after they landed, Armstrong left the LEM, and makes the first step on the moon.
Oh, guys, talk slow. Makes it so much more
That
impactful.
step,
so dramatic.
one small step for man,
We've heard the quote. Come on.
one giant step for mankind. Shortly after, Buzz Aldrin makes his way out of the LEM and very carefully, without locking the door, the hatch, because as it turned out, they never designed a door handle on the outside,
They have all these stupid little stories like, oh, wow.
makes his way out of the LEM and down the stairs. What you're looking at here is that seminal photograph that was taken by Neil Armstrong. A seminal photograph taken by Neil Armstrong of Buzz Aldrin.
That clearly shows that he's got at least 2 or 3 stairs missing at that point. and yeah, supposedly he said, oh yeah, the last one's only about 10 inches or something like that, or backwards, but they got this totally wrong. He didn't even recall the big gap at the bottom of the stairs. Unreal.
As they landed on the moon, as they stepped onto the lunar surface of Tranquility Base. Tranquility Base.
This guy's in love with them.
Well, those photographs came back to Earth, and of course, to this day, still takes my breath away thinking about it. It was
Unbiased, though.
a step for man, but
yeah, me
surely
too.
a giant step for mankind. But those photographs came back, inspired hundreds of millions.
Oh, hundreds of millions.
But at the same time, caused many people to be quite excited about whether the origin
Why
of
does
this
IGN care about this stuff?
Is that supposed to be a real
photograph
picture?
from the moon.
It's actually, he announces right here that it's
There was
computer
good reason
generated.
Oh yeah, it looks
for them
like
to
my
question
video
these
that I made.
photographs.
Yeah, it is.
First of all,
You're going to start dancing in a
when you
minute.
look at that
Yeah, it's basically what it does.
image of Buzz Aldrin,
But look how
and
bright
you look at the shadows on the ground.
when he discusses
dark
why,
shadows.
you know what they say the reason that he's so bright is? They say it's a reflection off of Armstrong's suit.
Suit, that's right. Yes, they did say that.
Insane. And again, they just
Yeah.
had to play with the dials until they got it to be as bright as the picture, and then they said, "Oh, that's it. His suit has got 95% refractivity and the albedo of the moon." But again, it doesn't even play. That's why they only cover one image in their little debunking. It's because they don't even show all the other images that are completely opposite of that, right? Where it is dark and there is no reflection of the so-called albedo.
Yeah, even their debunks conflict with each other.
Right.
I mean, they can't get anything right. I mean, it's just terrible.
You listen a little bit more, and then we'll go forward a little bit.
That we could very easily, through
It'd
the
be nice to put a
positioning of the
compilation there
stars,
together, because
determine
you're talking
whether they
about how there's all these other photos out there that show the opposite. So let's put a compilation together and show you, okay, there's this one, and compare this one with this one, and do several of them, and that way we could show all the people these things.
Agree.
Yep.
were actually on the moon. And the belief is that it must have been too complicated to line those up, so they decided to leave them out. It is possible that this photograph was taken here on Earth. Now, with the invention of VXGI, and through the extraordinary efforts of our engineers, we meticulously model the lunar LEM. Here's the wonderful thing about the lunar LEM.
Yeah.
It's made out of aluminum, aluminum foil,
cardboard,
cloth, and a generous application of tape.
Oh my God!
You admitted it.
But it's real.
It.
No wonder Aldrin and Armstrong wanted to get out of that thing as fast as they could. It was a flying Coke can. We modeled every detail. We had to model every single detail. We modeled the surface of the moon so that we could start to study and test these mysteries and come to our own conclusion through scientific means whether it is possible, whether they did land on the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to demonstrate to you guys now our work.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow, look at this. Computer graphics does.
Oh, come on, man. That's nothing like the
Little
LEM.
detail. Now, first of all, come on, fess up. You thought that was a photograph, right?
And again, even looking right
That was
here.
a photograph. You thought that was a photograph.
Look how the light
No,
to
the
the left.
photograph is way worse.
Look how the
Well,
light
first
to
on
the
my
left
side,
of it
it
is
was
so
rough.
bright, and to the right
But
is
by
so
the time I
dark.
saw the final works,
How
I
is
thought
that
it was a
possible?
photograph.
The sun would
Then
light
you're
up
an
the
idiot.
whole thing.
It's really amazing work. The engineers modeled every little detail.
Every detail.
And so let's go through and let's test each one of
NVIDIA needs to be in charge of this so that way they can be
conspiracy
prepared for the
The
next
first one is
time they
this.
decide to pull a hoax.
Right, they want to be picked.
All the
Let's
details
assume
simulated
that he
already.
is in shadow and that the only light source is direct. Well, this is what it would look like.
Right.
This is what Buzz would, and this is what people expected him to look like. And the reason for that is because the sun is on the other side of the lamp. And you can also see the shadows on the ground are perfectly dark. So how is it possible that he's lit? Well, as it turns out, we modeled the entire surface of the moon. We modeled the dust particles of the moon, and we learned this.
What did you learn?
We learned that the dust particles on the moon, which is created obviously from asteroids bombarding the moon, okay?
Oh,
relentless
obviously
over
it was
billions of
created.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fine particles, and it in fact has reflective properties. Now, the reflective properties are not great. It only reflects about 10, 12% of the light that
Yeah, I was going to say, the moon's albedo is not
However,
that high.
So I forgot how they.
as in many
they say.
type of dust particles and crystals, when a light hits it
Still
directly,
not seeing any pitch black
and you
rocks
look at
there.
it from the same angle as the light source, the reflected light is multiple times brighter than it otherwise would have
They
reflected.
just made that up.
It's a phenomenon
Unbelievable.
And then he
called
said,
opposition surge.
he said when you're at the same angle as
Well,
this light
we
source.
simulated
Well, he's not the same angle.
the property.
He's not where
No.
the sun is. So the
There's
sun is-
nothing. This is complete fraud.
Yeah, it's terrible. I can't believe that they get away with. I mean, this is the thing. This is why I say it's so easy to be mainstream, right? If I just get up there and say something about, oh, the moon is real because of this reason, they would put me. I would get a million views.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
oh
You
well,
can watch a little
let's
bit more. It's kind of funny.
go.
Properties of the moon dust. And as you can see, right now, the sun is behind me, the lamp is beside me. Notice the brightness of the sun as it's reflecting off the lunar surface. Well, suppose we were to turn on VXGI and we turn every single surface into a light source so that it reflects the light. Let's see what happens.
We turn every single ground to the light source. Oh, that's it.
Well, voila. Reflecting off of this lunar surface, the sun was able to light Buzz Aldrin. Well, that's mystery number one.
Then why is there a shadow on the ground? Then why isn't the light reflecting and killing the shadow? If it's a light source, wouldn't it color in the shadow? It's just
That's
it's
a
so
really
stupid.
good point.
Mystery number two is this. Why is it that while we're looking at him right now, we don't see the stars? Well, that's
Watch
a
this.
simple answer. Turns out it's a simple matter of exposure. The light is so bright, in fact,
Listen to what he says here.
that they had to change the exposure of their camera to the point where you're not over blindingly bright on the surface of the moon, while therefore you're no longer able to see the stars. And so what we did was this. In fact, when we look out into the sky, we've modeled all 84,000 of the closest stars around Earth that we can see from Earth. And if we were to change our exposure, this is what we would see. Now, Curtis, what would happen now if we were to look back down?
Whoa.
Now, this
So
is
that's what
they
the
would have
moon
seen
should look like?
if
Listen,
they were to,
he says-
were to adjust their pupil and got accustomed to seeing the stars and then look back down.
So if the astronauts looked
Everything
up at
would
the
be
stars
so
and
white,
looked back down,
so
it would look
bright.
like that.
So you're telling me if I stare at that long enough and adjust my pupils and make them real small, I'm going to start seeing? No. This is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And these people have letters after their names?
I don't know. They're just creators of NVIDIA game cards.
Oh, jeez.
God, that is so bad.
Right, because of the sun's brightness reflecting off the surface of the moon. Now let's change the exposure again, please. Look how beautiful that is, huh? Hey guys, what do you think?
Wow.
Real-time computer graphics with real-time global illumination.
It's just people.
Well,
so how did they pull that off in the 60s? They can do it today. How did they pull it off in the 60s?
I just think it's so ridiculous that people wouldn't get the fact that you can't just say, here's a photo that NASA says is real, and then go to your gaming engine and be able to model, you call it modeling the surface of the moon, but really it's just trying to make it match whatever the photo shows. And then saying that that's proof that the photo's real. It's like, it's so backwards. That's not at all how you would prove something is real.
No, it's completely absurd. Man, they should be embarrassed putting crap like this out. Makes me ashamed of NVIDIA. But, NVIDIA,
they make good
have all this
cards.
credibility. So, that's why they use them.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how they're
people
going to
listen
try to
NVIDIA.
avoid all the bloopers the next time. It's all done through NVIDIA entirely. And
have you seen like the Unreal
that's gonna be
Engine
their
and stuff like
excuse.
that? I mean, right now they've already got things that look indistinguishable from being fake and real. Like it's called Unreal Engine 6 or 5. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, it's
Meru?
fabulous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, go ahead. I don't know.
There's
if much else
another conspiracy. This particular question was kind of interesting. Well, it turns out, can we go to the slide, please? When you look at this other iconic image of Buzz stepping on the moon, it's taken from a camera that plops down from the LEM, and it captured Neil Armstrong coming off the ladder, and it captured Buzz Aldrin coming off the ladder. The theory that this photograph was in fact taken on Earth was because some believed that light source, that really bright light source beyond Buzz, was in fact a light that they forgot or somehow
Nobody's ever said that.
mistakenly did not take out of the way
I've never heard one person
when they
claim
took
that.
this picture. And so if we were to go back to our simulation, in fact, if you were to look at that,
The simulation, he's
shut.
not see-through in the
That's
simulation.
an interesting question. That's an interesting question. Until, if you were to figure out where Neil Armstrong was standing when he took the other iconic photograph, you'll discover that, lo and behold, there's a white object there. Well, here's the amazing thing.
Amazing.
Neil Armstrong's spacesuit is made out of largely Teflon, a material called beta cloth, and it has a reflectivity of about 90%.
Where's the
All
camera?
light that
I don't
is-
see the camera over there.
That hits Neil Armstrong.
Coming off the limb.
90% of it bounces
I don't
off.
see
And
that.
you could just imagine
Look how bright he is.
how bright the sun is. Without being disrupted by the atmosphere, it lights up Neil Armstrong, and it helped us solve one last unexplained issue when we were working on this project.
Oh my God.
The one last thing we could never figure out is why is it that when we compared, and now we've simulated everything to death.
Oh,
We
everything.
simulate the brightness of the sun. We simulate the reflectivity and the material of the lunar surface. We've captured all of the geometry. We've put all the right materials into the lunar lander, and the lunar lander is reflecting off and also projecting its light on Buzz. We've modeled every little detail. Now, why is it that when we look
Hold
at
on, pause it for a
Buzz
second.
still seems
How did the camera that's laying on the moon or whatever, or on the LEM's leg, know when to take the picture? This is 1972, 69, somewhere in. Oh, this is 69. This is the first one.
69, yeah.
Yeah. So, did they have a little wire with a button to
Yes.
say, "Hey, take the picture"? I mean, how did the camera know when to take a picture?
Oh, I'm sure they'll come up with some excuse.
live person at the one of those people at the consoles has that job. One of the 75 people, I guess.
Yeah, and this model doesn't look anything at all like the LEM. I mean, that the real LEM, as you guys have seen here before, is ridiculous. I mean, cardboard. It's the worst construction job you've ever seen in your life of anything.
And think even
kindergartners could have done better.
Even on the ISS, you need like 2 people helping the 2 people put on the spacesuit, and yet we're supposed to believe that these guys put on their own spacesuits in that craft because they didn't fly there in the spacesuit, so they must have put them on and they like helped each other put them on. Like who made the final zip? Who sealed the final glove? I don't know. It's just funny to me.
Yeah, and the thickness of Saran wrap and aluminum foil.
Oh yeah, if you just accidentally just knock it.
I mean, not only that, but
poke your finger through it.
Yeah,
the LEMs are pressurized at supposedly, somewhere between 5 and 14 psi, and putting that next to a 10 to the negative 17 torr vacuum would have blown that whatever it was away. It would have destroyed it instantly. There's just no way that structure could have ever stood up to that vacuum pressure, ever.
No way.
Seemed too dark. Well, it wasn't until we modeled Neil Armstrong and we put him in the scene that we were able to see the difference. How about let's turn Neil on and off.
Oh,
off on.
There it is.
Off on. That little tiny detail, and we'll show you in just a second, is so compelling that we now understand why it is that Buzz was lit the way he was.
Because he wasn't on the moon.
Well, let's take a look at, let's step out and take a look at Neil and what he looks like. There's Neil.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
No.
That's embarrassing.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, the audience is going,
The extraordinary
yeah,
detail
right.
that the engineers put into it is just really, really wonderful to see. And then lastly, let's compare the before and after.
That's all we need to watch on that one.
You're right, Jeran. He doesn't sound biased at all.
No, it's an unbiased test, and he's not in love with those guys at all. And then they came down, and they only had 40 seconds of fuel left, and they did the brave thing, and they landed anyway for all of mankind.
And Buzz Aldrin used his Parker pen to switch.
Oh, the circuit breaker.
Yeah.
And then he took a piss in his pants.
Yes, and they left the poo-poo.
Yeah, and then they threw the poop out and left it on the moon. It's nice.
Yeah, and the first meal was how you say the ostia.
What?
Ostia, what you eat when you are in the church, and
the communion. Communion.
The communion. That was the first meal with 3 drops of wine, and that is official from Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, so he was a Mason and a Catholic. Isn't that kind of a weird combo?
Yeah, if you put on Google first meal on the moon, was secretly hiding.
These astronauts are always secretly hiding things. Like, how did they get a golf club on there?
Communion and wine.
And wine.
To the moon.
Yeah, right.
In the Buzz Aldrin suit, and he eat that.
Well, to be fair, come on, Buzz might have died from the withdrawals if he didn't sneak a little bit of wine up there.
He had to get a little bit on there. Can't jump off the wall.
Had to fight off the shakes.
So anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
as far as other resources, here we have Clues Forum, which is outstanding. And these guys are not flat earthers. In fact, Simon Shack, thinks flat Earth is a complete hoax. However, a pretty good majority of his panel and commenters do not think that. So they've kind of left the flat Earth subject alone. But look at all these other subjects they have on NASA, and every one of these, they tear them a new one completely. Kubrick and the Apollo hoax, NASA the tallest of all tales, we never went to the moon, Baker in the orbit, the ISS, unbelievable expose on the ISS, proves it's fake and phony in every way possible. Of course, Apollo hoax, the mother of media fakery. It goes on and on and on. Then this is outstanding. Does rocketry work beyond Earth's atmosphere? No, it does not. And 58 pages, and they've hashed out everything in here and completely debunked it. So this is a fantastic resource that will be in the show notes for you guys to peruse.
Are they also anti-satellites?
Are they what?
They don't think satellites exist?
No, they know satellites are fake too.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I think Allus probably thinks they do.
Yeah. So this is that's why I said it's a really good resource. But yeah, one of my favorites ever is Clues Form for sure. All right. And then we have, what do we have here? You have the American Moon movie, which was on BitChute. That will be in the show notes. And then I have a couple other things here that I found as well. That one we already did. Simon. Dope.
Today I asked to this team leader of a sport headquarter of Google, and I have on record. And I asked why they Google don't put a camera on the moon if the things like the Felix Baumgartner sham was the most ever live watching video. And he started laughing and say, yeah, there was a long time when we went to the moon, and it's time to go back, right? I just comment. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but because I'm start mentioning the X Prize, I mean, Google is involved in the space career, and in fact, you give a prize to the Israeli Space Agency based on their achievements. So why
never go anywhere though?
Google itself don't finance a camera, a live camera on the moon, and the guy just respond with a very serious, but he cannot say anything, and that is why I start talking about the flat Earth. But it was something really amazing, right? Google can do it. They have the money, they have the equipment, they have the contacts, they have the agencies on their side. Maybe.
You would think they would do it.
No, man. Yep. Nobody can reach the moon.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. They even offered money for it, and then it went on for years and years. They kept extending it. Yeah. I told the story about the Axe body spray that Buzz Aldrin joined, and it was like, whoever wins this contest, these 10 people will get to go to the moon. I mean, get to go to space. And then I never heard anything about it. So I actually found that girl who wrote that article and called her and got in touch with her. And she said, oh, yeah, they just ended up giving them money and not letting them go to space. Like, why? She goes, I don't know. The original thing was they were going to go to space, and then they figured out they couldn't take them to space, so they just gave everybody money. Like, typical.
Yep. Wow.
I don't know if
we'll never go.
No, and I don't know if you saw the one of the. I never see it before. I'm going to paste here on the chat of Skype. One of the last pictures that came out of Stanley Kubrick in the TV set. I don't know if you. It's recently that I had the chance to take a look. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to paste here on the chat because it seems real. I mean, it seems like they are really there. I don't know.
Is this on your channel? This video here?
Yeah.
Can you send me a link? Just put it in the chat. Oh, you already did. Wait.
I'll put it in the show notes too.
Yes, somebody opened, and it's not me.
Oh,
it's me. I'm sure.
I'll take that link, Bob, if you can give it to me. I need it for a video.
Okay, and I am looking here.
Everybody leaves off the end of this guy's what he talks about when he says, we'd go back to the moon. The ending of it is so retarded. He then starts talking about how the only thing that we can is in our imaginations.
I put a picture already, which is not the it's not the Stanley Kubrick thing, but it is just a way that I believe, as like Jeran, that some astronauts maybe they was hanging on balloons, and because that it was a technique using for movies, and then I paste the also the new ones from Stanley Kubrick if you want to take a look. For me, looks legit, but in nowadays, it's if you don't have the source, the actual source files and things like that, it's a little hard to say. But
I've always I wanted to do that test. I actually asked. I was like, I want to get enough money that I could do that, where I could get a balloon, hold me in some warehouse, and let me keep filling the balloon until I weigh 1/6 of my weight, and then let me run and jump around and see what it looks like.
Yeah, and in fact, that was a method used in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not crazy to, and there is no, well, could be another explanations, but when you see those astronauts jumping and trying to gain momentum to get on your knees, it needs to pick up a tool, and they still fail because the astronaut cannot do it. They cannot take up the hammer again. It's crazy because it doesn't matter the gravity. It doesn't matter if you are in the vacuum. If you want to just sit on your knees, what's the problem?
Yeah, it should be easy.
It should be very easy, like here on Earth, you know.
Yep.
So it's crazy. And the other picture is the one on Stanley Kubrick, and I don't know if you have the chance to see before. It's the last one in the same chat. Is the last
in the
picture?
Same, yeah. Wait a second. I have this one. Did you send another one, Nero?
Yes, I sent it. I sent this one. Then you put the link for the video, and then I send it another one. And
oh crap! Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. I totally missed that. Kubrick Studio One.
That would be fun if you had a balloon that could let you jump like 20 feet.
Hell yeah!
God, that would be awesome.
You just don't want it to be too much helium, or else you end up like Pooh Bear. And you're gone,
floating away.
Okay, there's Kubrick Studio One.
Yes, the one in the upper right corner is just from a movie, typical miniature from a movie. And the other three, supposedly, it's from Stanley Kubrick for real. I just saying, for me, looks legit. In nowadays, you can do a lot of things in terms of the digital art, but for me, looks very legit. At least, of course, you can start argue. Well, Kubrick is in shadow, or you can just. If you want to make some zoom, you can also take a look back. The stage itself, it's pretty damn good.
The thing that bugs me is that whistleblower, right? The whistleblower who came out and talked about his dad that worked on set or whatever. That he even gives us clues. He says, like, any good researcher today could find this information. They're giving us clues that we can go and pull manifests. Remember, this is government money, so we can pull. We might be able to find out that they did deliver a whole shitload of sand and rock and whatever to that facility. He tells us what facility. I mean, again, but truth is free, so it's tough to do that for free. To look into doing that.
Yeah. You're not going to have to spend hundreds of dollars on Freedom of Information Act.
Like they did, like that one they did with me with the spacewalk, and then sent me empty footage for 8 hours. Thanks, NASA.
And I don't know, I upload in my NPT photo on YouTube, I upload a short clip from the girl who was the Apollo mission programmer. I don't know how to say, the engineering programmer on all
the flight director person, or
not the flight director, the girl who programmed all the actions.
Yes. I saw that.
Okay, in that 2-minute interview, she at the beginning she said that for they couldn't distinguish the simulations from the actual real event, and she surprised how clean and how nominal everything was in the actual mission. Because in the simulations everything went wrong. and every time they trying to land the the lander was crash, and everything was a mess, totally a mess in the simulations. And suddenly in the mission was perfectly 6 missions without any problems. And it's directly from the girl saying that in the 70s in an interview, and it's crazy, man.
Yep.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, hey, I want to give some shout outs for the super chats. Bill Hesser, thanks so much for the super chat. Much appreciated, sir. Mixlick says, be patient with it. In 2025, when I become crypto millionaire, wow, I thought I saw that before. I will support you beyond your dreams. Globebusters too. Go fast rockets and stuff. All right.
Sweet.
Two Trees says, nothing is free. Somebody paid for it. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Dan Morse, thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. And then let me run over to the Rockfin side.
And I'm just going to show one other
Next
video.
time when I have to pay my bills coming up, I'm just going to be like, whoa, just be patient.
Yeah, just be patient.
2025, this guy's got my back.
Right?
Here's an IOU. Do you mind? I'm just going to show that one video of the vacuum next to the Earth, just so Ira needs to see it.
Yeah, and I paste the link from the computer's Poppy Northcutt. That's the name of the girl. So if you want to add in the comment section.
Okay.
Her name is Poppy.
And let me do the last couple of the Rockfins. Space Water says, thank you guys very much for everything you do. Thank you so much as well. Fishhead Montana says, always a great show. Thanks. Thank you so much, Fishhead. What Fishhead said, Irie Lights. I'm not sure what that means. But anyway, thank you, Tom Nixon, for the super chat on Rockfin. And Murray Cole, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. The $20 tip on Rockfin. Much appreciated. That covers that.
Okay, and then I'm going to see. Tell me if you see this, if I share this. Do you see an Earth?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Yes.
part of one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is something that I keep pushing to the ballers to try and get a sufficient answer, and we haven't got one yet. So Ira, what I wanted to show, I want Ira to 3D model it because I did a shitty job. But I'm trying to show that we're on the ball Earth, right? So, and then even showing that like the test is being done
I'm
on
not seeing it. Sorry, Jeran. I'm not seeing it on the YouTube.
Thank you very much. You're right.
Yep.
Good call. I need to put that up there. I was more worried about that. Okay.
Well, but that was a nice intro.
Thank you. I did good. Huh?
From the Earth, from outer space, enter into the clouds.
I just combined different images.
Yeah, go directly to your bathroom. That's great, man.
Knock it off. I don't do this for a living. All right. Just like you do. All right. So then we're doing this test on the Earth. And so we have this vacuum chamber. Look at that. My 3D modeling. Ira, what do you think?
Well, no, let me go to the live stream because right now I see just a tiny part of the screen, and now I start seeing.
Okay. So what I want to show is that if we have a vacuum chamber on Earth and it's next to the ball Earth, so it's at the ground level, then if we take a smaller box inside this one, so we have air inside the vacuum, hasn't been vacuumed yet, and then we've got air inside the small box, right? So then I want to show that if we take out the air from the big box, which would be through turning on the vacuum, so it goes on here and sucks it all out shortly, maybe a little further. There we go. So then it sucks all the air out. So we still have just this box in here with air. So if we remove the top, so you know, see here, we're going to remove the top electronically. The question is, what would happen to those air particles, right? These molecules, are they going to fill the vacuum, or are they going to sit on Earth because the gravity's pulling them down? Well, we all know the answer to that. And no matter how much bigger we get, when this air releases into this, right? So this air goes into the vacuum. If we then take this box and put it in a bigger vacuum and do it again and do it again and again and again, no matter what, it will never hold the air to the Earth. And that alone disproves all of the heliocentricity. That right there, because their only answer to why we have the vacuum next to the atmosphere is because of gravity. But if it can't hold this tiny little box of air, then it can't hold the gigantic atmosphere.
Right, and they sit there and claim also, well, it's a gradient, though. That's
Still
why
doesn't
it's a
matter, right?
gradient.
Still
I
doesn't matter.
know.
Yeah.
They act like it does. It doesn't matter.
Because again,
You're
even in
absolutely
this
right.
container, it would, if it settled as a gradient, meaning it was lesser and heavier here, which I'll even give them that. It doesn't matter because as soon as you put that box in a vacuum, then the vacuum would eat through the layers. It would start to slowly go through the layer. You would have you can't have a gradient without the container.
That's right. And the same claim would have to be made towards the flat Earth model as well. The problem with that is it's not a problem because, a lot of us tend to believe that there's a firmament up there, which makes it a sealed connector, a sealed container. And, that also gives us
But the other thing is that the flat Earth model, though, if we have a downward direction that's been set by electrostatics, and then we've got density and buoyancy, well, the density of the air is higher than the vacuum, if there's a vacuum at all, so that would pile up in a gradient.
Not just that, but it's for me at least it's very clear when you add in the mix the lower temperature, because the only way to stop molecules to be bounce is at lower temperature. And when you go up there, you have a natural barrier. It doesn't matter if there is a container, a dome, whatever. It doesn't matter. Before that, you have very, very lower temperature, and that's going to prevent the gases keep going in crazy direction in all direction, and that you can do it here on lab on the Earth.
Yep.
If you start freezing the atmosphere or start cooling down things, the key, and that is always in superconductivity, super quantum levitation, whatever you want to call it, and all these phenomena, the key is when things go down in temperature, crazy, quote unquote, crazy things happen. And that is when they discover the superfluidity, the superconductivity, the super fluidity, all that.
And that's why we need our own rocket right there, so we can verify all this stuff. Because the highest we get is what, like 120, 125, and the temperature actually starts warming up at about, I think it's 71,000 feet. It goes from negative 70.
No, it
really starts warming up at 62 miles, right above where the firmament supposedly
well,
is.
I'm just talking about the balloons. The balloon
no,
launches
balloons is
that we
very,
can.
Yeah.
60
down there.
It's about
the
70.
Balloons,
well, it's negative 70.
Negative 60, exactly.
Yeah. But then it warms up to about 7 degrees, all the way to 110,000 feet. The temperature is 7 degrees up there. So
yeah, but
something
when
warms up for at least a little bit of time.
Yes, and officially, if you take a look on the charts, when you put, for example, thermosphere gradient, the temperatures go really down until 100 kilometers, and that is an official measurement that went down to minus 100 Celsius degrees. 50% of the absolute zero, and that is a given for the official measurements. And then they invert the gradient and go up very quickly to the thermosphere and 2000 Celsius degrees. But until the point that you, me, and anybody can take a look, the temperature is going down and down and down and down.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you go look at Dwayne Kellum's videos right now at 70,000 feet, it is negative 70 degrees, somewhere right around there.
Yes.
But then it goes up to about 7 degrees. And when they pop, it's still on its way up. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't get colder above that. I'm just saying from the info we get, it does start warming up warmer than the air beneath it. Like at 35,000 feet, eventually it does start to like warm up a little bit. It's weird. I don't know why it does it, but all the data that I see from not just Dwayne Kellum, but other balloon launchers that put it up there, it warms up at 70,000 feet. I don't know why. Maybe that's where that sodium layer is doing something. I don't know.
No, the sodium layer is at 62 miles.
Okay, yeah, then I don't know what's happening to 70,000 feet, but for some reason it starts to, at least the temperature on the thermometer. Now, maybe the thermometers can't, register things that well once they get that cold. Maybe some kind of phenomena takes on.
If you open the chart that I pasted in the chat, you're gonna see that prediction from the ground to the first 10 miles. It's going to cooling down, and then you're gonna have like a little bit until the 30 miles up. You're gonna have like a warm condition again, and after that line, things it's going
Start
to
to
go
drop. Yeah.
really, really, really critical. And the rocket from the Go Fast guys, well, they
There it is, but Jeran's not sharing it.
okay. But again, remember that in the lower temperature, there is even this theory called the boson-Einstein condition, where the molecules start losing their identity and start mixing together, and things are getting crazy. And that is one of the, for me, one of in fact, in the supposed background cosmic radiation, the temperature is almost 0 degrees in the outer space. So something happened in lower temperature, that for sure.
Yep, without a doubt.
I like how this diagram shows sprites in it. That's a good thing to have on it.
Yep, and the thermosphere, of course, right here at 62 miles, that's where it starts going up to 4,500, and that's the lower layer of the firmament, at least as I see it. And isn't it interesting that all of a sudden it goes from really, really low temps to 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Almost like there was a sun there or something, you know?
How dare you?
Makes you wonder. So Austin, you do realize that when you debate the physicist guy, he's going to be coming after the electrostatic model of gravity primarily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's not a problem, but that's all fine and dandy. I'm sure you're aware of it. But on my next presentation, the last couple of days I did some research, and I have finally come up with the correct evidence and a ton of evidence that I'm going to completely eviscerate relative density disequilibrium and show you how impossible it is without the downward vector. So we don't have to worry about,
that's cool. I think they're like way behind. I'm just wanting to put together something where we can kind of get the predictions down, or like something mapped out, or what the actual electrostatic downward bias is. Like, yeah, like density disequilibrium definitely doesn't explain it. So I agree with that, Victor. Yeah, but like, see, like basically his critique is he's trying to use Coulomb's law, like, and then use the distance to debunk me or whatever. And I keep telling him, like, you're not understanding my argument. There's a downward flow on the Earth, right? And there's a downward current on the Earth. You can measure it. It's just really weak, but it sets the up and down, and that's just a fact, and that's what it is. And so he's trying to come up with this, this force that's going out hundreds of miles and pulling things down and blah blah blah. And then his other major critique, I guess, is allegedly that up to a certain point in the air, it isn't 100 volts per meter anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that they're understanding my argument. That it's different than saying there's some gigantic force from the Earth pulling everything down to it.
Yeah.
And then there's just a downward flow on the Earth setting up and down.
He thinks you're switching that. You're just taking gravity and saying, no, it's actually this force. But we're not saying that.
Exactly. And then I'm like, no, you're straw manning me. That's not what I'm saying. And I can type it. I took like 30 minutes to type out a freaking email to him, like bolding stuff and everything. And it's like his response was like, he just didn't read it. It's like, I don't even know what to say. It's whatever. So it's like,
he already said he's not going to change his mind. I mean, he basically told us that.
Yeah, but like he is valuable, right? Like to let other people see, oh, this is like a professor. I mean, he can't debate a flat earther. So I think he's valuable in this.
Imagine that people paid to be taught by that man.
I know, scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I showed him.
Relative
I was like,
density argument all boils down to things fall because things fall. That's it. Yeah.
But that's obviously not gonna be very satisfactory to people, bro. Like that's, you could say that about every phenomenon,
they
right?
fall down because they fell down. And what's great about it is I have some outstanding audio clips from Flatzoid where he sticks his foot in his mouth. I'm going to enjoy it almost too much, but
Yeah, this is what's crazy, right? So like what gives something its density? So you can't even invoke density. Well, what is weight? What is weight? What is density? Like density is equilibrium. What? That's not a force. Density is not a force. Contrary to a apparently popular belief, density is not a force. Okay, that's a qualitative characteristic of matter. What is causing the acceleration? Right? Like what is the force? Electrostatics is a force, and you have buoyant force. Okay, so it's the buoyant force. Density itself is not a force, and that's just insane. So something sets the up and down. And there's a downward flow on the Earth that we can measure, and you can do this with like 10, 20 different things, right? I mean,
now the Globers call it gravity, right? But we don't, because we know gravity is nonsense. We also know that there is no such thing as gravity. There's no such thing as a graviton. There's no such thing as a gravitational field. And all measurements that are even related to gravity are done with respect to acceleration. And that's it. That's all they got. That is
besides
all
what
they
is
have.
LIGO 1/100th of a proton or something like that?
Yeah.
They claim they can measure a movement.
Well, even if
Get
that was
outta
true,
here.
that has nothing to do with gravity, because gravity does not shorten things, and nor can they prove it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
absurd.
Yeah, you can use a kinematic equation for any like practical use case of little g anyway. Like just using initial velocity, height, and time. When these are verifiable variables, and he's just wanting to know like what's the concept behind it, and it's like he doesn't understand it. You can use electrostatic field meters mounted at different elevations. You can use like high impedance voltage meters. You can use like balloons and rockets and helicopters or aircraft. You can use all kinds of things. You can use like long wire antennas, you know, to measure the difference from the top to the bottom. And we have a downward flow on the Earth, and that's that. That's what sets
And the
the up and down.
gravimeters register that, except they're not registering gravity. They're measuring a downward acceleration. And that's what's his nuts needs to figure out, you know, the physicist.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I told him about how the rain, thunderstorms, and lightning and stuff like change, even wind will actually change how fast something falls in that gravimeter. Whether it's interferometry or spring loaded, all the same, right? And it's like consistent, and it's across the whole Earth. And that can't be explained with gravity. You would have to have a change in mass to do that.
The funny thing is they completely disavowed that it's measuring anything. Okay, so what is the point of the gravimeter? I mean, we know what it does. It measures downward acceleration. Well, great. It does that, but that means that it has to be there. Right? I mean, it's so unbelievable that they can just completely dismiss that.
Well, I think this is the thing. Like when I've decided I'm going to homeschool my daughter, right? Like one of the first things I'm going to do is teach her how to think, like not what to think. Like I think that it's insane. We weren't taught logical fallacies. I think you should be like in second grade and you should know the fallacies. If you know how to logically think. So that's why it does it. Yeah, he's not necessarily stupid, and he's got a bunch of experience and knowledge with certain things, and he can do his math or whatever. And he's read books. But if he doesn't have logic, he's useless. I told him he was out of his league, and that's what I mean, logically. Like you're presenting logically fallacious arguments. It's nothing to do with your credentials. It's you don't have logic. Like when I say, okay, look, this changes, and that can't be explained with general relativity. Gravity, it would have to invoke a difference in mass to change the warping of space-time, right? To alter a gravity well. He's like, oh, it doesn't change much. I'm like, that's irrelevant. It's that it changes based on those variables that can't be explained within gravity. No, it just changes a little bit, though. That is irrelevant, though, Brian.
And how does he know that? How does he know that? What proof is there for that?
That doesn't change much. Well, just the measurements that invoked in the studies that the universities do, the downward acceleration always fluctuates in a small window. But Jeran looked into the gravimeter, and it actually has a bunch of like kind of cooks the books. It's kind of like Texas sharpshooting in a way, where it's like
it does.
Yeah,
it does. You can actually set it for different modalities to compensate for different things, maybe even to look for different acceleration levels that would be indicative of locating, say, gold or some other heavy mineral, right?
They use it for that.
But
are they expensive?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
20
I was
grand
gonna
at least.
say I can mess with the electric field around one if we need to do that. I
20
can
grand at
apply
least,
that.
Zach.
Jeez, oh Pete's, man.
But dude, that's what the storms do, right? Like that's what a lightning storm does.
Yeah.
And we have ionic wind, just like Zach points out. We have ionic wind. So wind, rain, which of course you have the polarity of the cloud that ends up resulting in rainfall. And then you have like lightning and
Rainfall
thunderstorms.
itself creates a static charge as well.
Exactly. These are all electrostatic phenomena. So it makes sense that even in a vacuum chamber in the gravimeter, it's the electrostatic field. Like you can't block the electrostatic field. They call it 0-point energy, vacuum energy, whatever. In a vacuum chamber, it's still there. You just have an overall field, and so that's being altered, and that's going to affect the downward acceleration because the downward flow is slightly changed. Although it's so weak, it's never going to change it drastically. All the evidence supports it perfectly, and that makes sense that it would change based on those variables. It doesn't make sense with gravity. And a professor with credentials, a physics professor, 5 straight emails has responded with, "Oh, it doesn't change much." So I'm like, dude, you're just like logically bankrupt. You don't understand logic. It doesn't matter what you read in a book. If you can't use logic, you're not even having a conversation. You're just like chanting a script. And I think that people that are logical and wise will be able to watch that and know that, right? And I think that's why it's valuable to talk to people like this.
Does he not understand also there's other causative, type of forces that can be causing that change, like change in voltage or magnetic field?
Then he ends up kind of saying that, but he ends up kind of saying, well, then if anything, it's just like the this actually not him, another baller said it, where it's like, so it's an additional force. I'm like, oh, okay. So the manipulation of electrostatics changes the acceleration. So then can we verify the one that you're claiming? Because if not, then you don't have anything when we see that the variable of electrostatics changes it. Because it's true, right? If you have a force, you have a stronger force, you can overcome it for sure. But not just by begging the question and refining
it. That's why we say it's such a weak force, because, heat overcomes this, hot to cold, high pressure to low pressure. Buoyancy overcomes this. There's all these different things that can overcome it, but yet still it's always there flowing in one direction.
Exactly. Yeah. How does people understand that? The new thing they're doing now is saying I'm contradicting myself. He accused me of the kettle fallacy, right? Like saying that you use contradictory things to make an argument. And he's saying because I say it's weak and strong, because what I say is that on the smallest scale, electrostatics is 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity's even claimed to be, which is just a fact, right? And then,
it's like saying,
later in the conversation,
is stronger than the gnat.
Yeah,
but the kitten is still very weak.
Dude, and then it's still very weak. Exactly, Zach. I'm like, so I use the analogy. Bryant is stronger than an ant on the smallest scale. But overall, he's still very weak.
And by the way, when he started pointing out the Cavendish experiments and the Chimborazo mountain experiment, which was a complete fail, by the way.
He didn't mention that.
The fact is that he is denying the up-down vector of the gravity, because in the Cavendish experiment there is side-by-side vector. It's not pulling down. So what happened with the rest of objects in our world that nobody can attract,
And wouldn't the Earth be a lot stronger enough to hold the balls from rotating towards each other?
That is why I'm telling you. I mean, in the Cavendish experiment, the vector direction is left to right, overcoming the supposedly supergravitational field of the Earth pulling down in up-down vector.
Exactly.
Which could tell us it's something electromagnetic, or it's something attractive about those.
Well, it's electrostatic. Like the biggest piece of it, incoherent magnetism is attractive only. Right. So if you have incoherent mass, it's only going to attract, and you can prove it, and it's inversely proportional to the mass. So the bigger the mass, the weaker it is. So that explains this nuclear force, and that explains the Cavendish perfectly, right? Because it's just attractive only. And I haven't got a rebuttal in a week of like in-depth emails.
And that's when Zack showed that we put all those magnets together, and the more we added, the weaker it got.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only attractive no matter which side of the magnet you put to each other, because it's incoherent. It's not polarized.
And again, in the Cavendish experiment, it doesn't matter if is the modern day composition of the experiment, the modern machines. There is not a absolute zero temperature. You're gonna have molecules vibrating, because he mentioned in this chamber they cool down the balls to 4 degrees. Well, but that is not zero. This is not absolute zero. There's still motion, there's still vibration, this is still having interactions between the molecules, and those interaction is electrostatic.
Yeah. And I said that he was wrong about everything. I'm being literal. He was wrong about everything. When I said you can't block electrostatics, you can't, because even in a vacuum chamber, the field's there. It's well known within like the highest levels of academia. It's admitted, right? They call it vacuum energy, 0-point energy, quantum energy. It's always there, electromagnetic fluctuation, no matter what. So you can't eliminate that variable. It's just objective. So when someone says, you're just stupid, you objectively can, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just projection, right? I mean, it's insane how wrong they are. I was telling Kai, I'm like, dude, these emails are just like fortifying and strengthening my position in my own mind that we're definitely right about the Earth, because the best that they have is terrible. It's like nothing. Yeah.
No, it is.
I couldn't agree more. Well, guys, I think we're
can I play our trailer and then we'll head out? But I did hear something this week that I never heard before, Austin or anybody else. Have you guys heard of phonons?
No.
Phonons? I've heard of phonemes, but not phonons.
So the photons are light energy, right? Phonons are audio.
Dark.
They're audio energy. That's what sound travels. Look it up. That's what they say.
Goodness.
Oh my God! Sound travels on air.
Yeah,
not only that,
nothing
sound
more than
frequency is between
Look how fake that
20
is.
and
My goodness.
30 kilohertz.
Watch this again. Look how fake this is. Oh, you guys can't really see
We can't see it.
it.
Yeah, it's just the air perturbation of the air.
No, it's phonons. Phonons.
My goodness.
It's
Nailing
phonons.
your ears. Crazy speeds. I just saw something so fake. It was outside this window. Where was that?
We're trying to come up with new explanations for why you could hear sound on the moon, right?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, that's another one. All those sounds on the moon, throwing things up on a pile or something, and you can hear it. That's a problem.
They would say, "Oh, there is some atmosphere there."
Yeah, they vibrated the whole moon. I don't think so.
This view here is crazy. You'll have to watch in the live stream. Whoops. But it's pretty. It's like a ball out the window. It just looks so fake. Oh boy. Look at the coastline of whatever that is supposed to be. I don't know where that's supposed to be.
It's
That's
a
so
little
bad.
ball in a shed somewhere.
All right, let me
What
play
is
this trailer and we will skedaddle. I think that's all it was showing there. Let me see.
One more video.
You have one?
Very quickly
Okay.
on the chat. No,
Does it need sound or no sound?
No. Sorry, guys. I sent the wrong video. Sorry, my bad. It was a new fail in the ISS. I don't know if you saw it. It's crazy. There is like a super
The
penetration.
new fail is them telling kids that they need to start eating bugs. That's what I heard Christopher Eddy say the other day.
Well, yeah, but now I paste the correct video. It's only 50 seconds.
Does it have
video.
sound or no?
What?
Does it have sound?
Yeah, it does have sound.
Okay, let
No. It doesn't matter the sound.
Okay.
There is sound in the video, but it's not the sound. It's the actual CGI crap where the object penetrates the hand very drastically.
Oh, it's Kamala Harris.
You're talking about Kamala Harris?
man.
Yeah, that's
Open my
Kamala
mouth a little
Harris talking with an astronaut, and then you have this cable just insane.
But we don't need sound?
No.
Okay.
No.
Why is she on a phone?
Well, because she's
that's a
talking
great
with the
question. I think it's something that we all share up here. You know, one of the unique perspectives that we have here is to see Earth in its entirety. You know, we orbit the Earth.
This is
We see
ridiculous.
16 sunrises and
old
sunsets
style.
every day, and
Okay, but well, you are not presenting the full video, and that is some trouble.
Why? What
Okay
happened?
about it, but it's crazy. It's crazy how the cable start penetrating the hand. Well, I can take a look right now.
Oh man, you're right.
It's insane. I mean,
Wow.
there is no any loss of bit rate or some glitches because they send full quality data. This is a completely insane thing. I mean,
That is a bust.
Wow.
Say goodnight, NASA.
Bloom.
More time here.
Yeah, I promise you, if I tell the Discord, they will work together for about 10 minutes, and they will come up with the next.
oh man, that's a great question. I think it's something that we all share up here. You know, one of the unique perspectives that we have here is to see Earth in its entirety. You know, we orbit the Earth. We see 16 sunrises and sunsets every day, and
stupid for not realizing it.
That
Yeah,
guy,
like I'm crazy for asking why the thing just went, dude.
this
through
guy's
dude's hand.
upside down. It's so obvious to me when the way his mouth is, the way his cheeks are filling up here, the way his eyes are. That's what you'd look like if you're upside down. If anybody flips that image, I bet you he's upside down.
entirety. You know, we orbit the Earth. We see 16 sunrises and sunsets every day, and
They do a lot of that.
So what I mean, so you're the guy that's kind of expert. So you're saying they can't just say, "Oh, this is just a glitch" based on the feed itself, because it's like all the pixels remain intact. It's clearly just like a virtual overlay.
Yeah, no, a glitch, no. The only thing that they can argue is that based on the poor quality, which I am not complain about that, but based on the poor quality, the cable is white and it took the color of the skin. But if you start looking frame by frame, you're gonna see like a finger penetration first, when you can distinguish very well the cable from the fingers from the blue suit in the background, and then start like an interpenetrated. They can argue, of course, that this is just a bit rate download problem. That is like a magic car, you know. So, but we are still collecting these errors, you know, and just that they are still making.
It's the accumulation of all these things that eventually will wake some people up.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play the. There you go, preponderance. I'm going to play the trailer here, and we'll be right back. Oh, by the way, this is the trailer that both Austin and I like best, even though everybody else doesn't. Just so you know.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
So we're playing it here.
In a world where you've been lied to about almost everything, finding the truth isn't easy. But we have to start somewhere, and so Jeran and Austin are bringing things back to the center. Join them for the first ever True Earth Mount Meru Summit. This online summit will feature some of the best speakers, presenters, and entertainers, and all at an affordable price. This two-day event will be held on Friday and Saturday, November 11th and 12th, 2022, and will feature David Avocado Wolf, Brian from High Impact Flicks, Ben from Taboo Conspiracy, Marty Leeds, Amanda Vollmer, Sean Hibbler from Hibbler Productions, Peggy Hall, Eddie Bravo, Dave Murphy, Iru Landucci, Bob Nodell, David Weiss from DITRH, and Caleb from TikTok. With live music from Chris Crumb and Conspiracy Music Guru. And they will top it all off on Saturday night with some stand-up comedy from primetime Alex Stein. Followed by Owen Benjamin. Crushing! Brought to you by your host, Jeran Campanella from Jeranism, and Austin Whitsitt from Whitsitt Gets It. There's nowhere better to be on November 11th and 12th. Well, maybe Mount Meru. It's the first ever True Earth Mount Meru Summit. Tickets on sale now at temms.live.
All right, and then you can use a coupon code. Of course, you can use Bob if you want to support Bob. His is Bob50, or Avo50 is for avocado. But every person Iru's is MPT, so if you want to support him, MPT50. Whitsitt is WITSIT50. Mine is Jeran50, and you can kind of go from there. You can find who else has a code. But for Bob and Globebusters, use Bob50, and it's going to be a fun event. We're really looking forward to it, and we hope you guys attend. And we're making it so that really the people that are going are getting more than their value's worth, just in the speakers, the comedy, the music, and then we're really getting a bunch of people to throw together great coupon deals, free ebooks that people are giving out. So you're going to get we'll call it a goodie bag, even though it'll be a massive PDF most likely, that will have coupons to all kinds of places. It will support other flat earthers who have stores, who have websites, by them offering deals. So it kind of really puts it all together. It brings it back to the center, and then we move forward after that.
Yeah. I love the voice of that guy, dude. That was awesome.
See, we do too.
I know, it has a great voice.
Some people thought it was
crushing.
Yeah, some people thought it was mockery. We're like, no, it's supposed to be kind of, I don't know, wizardry.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
So anyway, fly me to the moon. Nobody's going to the moon.
That's right. And next week, of course, is Flatoberfest. And I'm not exactly sure how we're going to handle the show, Jeran. I don't know if you want to run it or if you want to call a week off or what.
So there'll be you'll be there, Zach, obviously, Austin.
Zach will be there. We'll all be there.
Yes. And last year, what did we do? We went live, but it didn't really work very well. I can't remember.
I don't remember what we did last year.
Yeah, I think it was something to that effect that you guys like tried, and it was like you and Meru, I think, but then you were like,
but you guys will be telecasting live from there.
Yeah, like I know it'll be showing on the Karen B's Rockfin account.
Yeah, let's not do a show next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be
fair
good.
enough.
Yeah. So no show next week. We'll be back the week after. Wait, what's the week after? Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we're fine on that one.
Okay. Yep, that sounds good. This way, we can all watch what's going on at Flatoberfest.
Yeah, and we can all, I'm sure Austin will go live. I probably will also.
Okay.
Just be in there and just kind of give everybody updates. I'm not going to go, I'm not going to try and cover the whole event, but maybe just some tidbits here and there. And but if you want the whole event, just join Rockfin and it'll be on Karen B's stream.
Yeah, I'll probably do a stream where I walk around. That's flatearthfestivals.com. Get your tickets now. flatearthfestivals.com.
Get them today.
There you go.
All right, let's go around real quick. Say anything that you need to say. Erie, you got anything you have to tell people? Not on mute.
Yeah. Sorry. No, thanks everybody. It was a really nice show. I'm going to try to have a dream with Felix Van Garner saying that the earth is flat, and no, it was a nice guy. And no, I going. I premiere in Rockfin like a movie / documentary, which it's pretty nice to take a look. If you are in Rockfin, take a look at MPT for all. And the rest, as always, tomorrow I have a debate with a physicist and astronomer on the radio show in Spanish, so it's going to be fun.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, man. If things going well, I'm going to try to translate, and I already translate your debate, Austin. Not complete, but the best part. So I'm going to try to share with the Spanish community this week.
Oh, awesome, bro. Thanks for doing that. That's cool.
Thanks to you, man. Thanks to you.
All right. That's you and Felix on the screen, huh, Meru?
Yes, it's
Very
me
nice.
with my T-shirt and making the flat Earth sign, and the other guy is Felix. 10 years later from the second for the second jump, because he jumps twice. That is why the capsule changed the orientation of the sticker.
Right.
And
Nice.
the second one was the record, the world record.
Nice.
Which isn't anymore.
Which is what?
Didn't the guy from Google go higher?
In terms of the higher, yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of the speed, no. He's
So
still
is this
maintaining the record.
Scott going down with the ball or what?
Yeah.
Going down
Well,
as a baller.
As something, I mean, I am not discredit his work in terms of what he did. Only three people went up 30 kilometers and take a look with his own eyes and jump from those altitudes. So that's, for me, is completely real. But that doesn't prove anything. I mean,
No.
it's just a guy jumping from 35 kilometers.
Yeah. I mean, that was cool and all.
Yeah, man, that's something that I respect a lot. I mean, you
Can
need
you
to
imagine?
have balls.
Can you
do
imagine
that, man.
free falling at supersonic speed?
Wow.
No.
It's insane, man. And
The good
that's-
part is I would pass
Yikes.
out. I would pass out for the entire time, so it really wouldn't be.
Well,
that
he
bad.
did. He did pass out.
Yeah, he
right?
did pass out, didn't he?
He did, yes.
Yep.
He's
Yeah,
got
he
some. He's got
blacked
some
out.
cojones for sure. You think he'd have enough cojones to maybe just be like, you know what? Turns out.
No, that takes giant
Anyway.
balls. That takes giant balls. All right, Zach. Anything coming up besides Fest, of course?
Yeah, no, just I'm going to be taking off Friday. Iron Rail Media. I won't be over there because we'll be at the park, and I'm not getting up at 4:30 in the morning to do the show because I'm going to go watch karaoke Friday night.
And by the way,
So,
if
yeah.
people are wondering, because there probably maybe some people are thinking, "Hey, everybody's speaking at the event, but not Zach." We asked Zach. Zach has plans.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jeran and I had plans. We're going to be out of state actually, and this was done a couple months ago.
The other Jeran.
Before the other Jeran, yes.
Yeah, my
Bob
son.
Jeran.
Yes.
Yeah.
He actually told us that he was too cool to do it.
That's what he
but
said.
we came with a political diplomatic answer, hey guys, for PR.
Yeah, I'm the adult in his B&B that he's going to be staying at. So it's.
Yeah. So he actually just said contact my agent, and we're like, screw that. We're not doing that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. It's charging crazy money. It was getting wild.
Rude. All right, Austin, what's coming up for you?
So we're working on the music, like I said earlier. So I'm putting together my song. Kai, of course, just like blows me out of the water and gets it done in like a couple hours. She's ridiculous. So she hasn't recorded it yet, but she's gonna drop a banger, bro. So we're gonna be putting the music together and laying that. And I think if we have time, I'll do one, she'll do one, and then we'll do one together for sure. We're both gonna have one, and hers is gonna be a banger. That's really all I can say for the quality of them. Hers is definitely gonna be good. So we're doing that. And then we will be releasing that via performance at Flattoberfest. So if you can come, you'll get to hear it first. That'd be pretty cool. And we're releasing the rest later. And then, yeah, same thing. I'm just doing streams throughout the week. And
those been great.
Should be cool. I don't even know what all I'm going to cover. Maybe I can see if I can trigger some people more than I did this last week. And
I love the topic-specific streams. Those are awesome. Because, again, they allow me to watch the things I want to watch. And when it says clones, I just have something else I got to do.
All right. Because you got cogged this.
A little bit. I got to work on something else. Got to work on my house. And Bob, anything for you?
No, not too much. I'm just going to be working on my speech for the Thames. Yeah, what the hell is it called again?
True Earth. Well, you mean are you speaking at this weekend?
No, not this one.
Okay.
No, but I'm still I'm making a choice between a couple different subject matters of what I'm going to speak on the virtual conference.
Okay.
So, but hopefully it'll be good for everybody and they'll enjoy it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody at Flattoberfest.
Awesome. Yeah, say hello for me to everybody. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, Hibbler did a documentary, came out yesterday, called Fluvid-19. I thought it was very good. It's great for introducing people that haven't woke up to that yet. So definitely check it out.
Excellent.
It's released only on Rockfin, but check it out. It's very good, and it's I already sent it to my sister, so she's already going to be watching that. That's a good thing for people that don't quite get it yet to start with. So there's no way you can watch that and deny that we've been bamboozled. So
yeah, no doubt.
All right,
and I said it a long time ago, but
yeah. Anybody else? Anything?
I got something.
Go. I forgot about Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. You've been quiet.
Yeah, I've got a great big video coming out real soon. I really like watching and studying ancient iconography, and so I've got this huge rabbit hole I'm going to be jumping into next week on meteorites, stars, people, aether, spirit orbs, and Foo Fighters, and there's like just connecting the dots on all of them. It's really crazy, but yeah, it's good. So I look forward to getting that out.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And did we miss anybody?
No. Nope. I think that's everybody.
All right, guys. It's been fun. We will see you. Obviously, they'll see you all at Flattoberfest, and we'll see you throughout the week. Be kind to each other. Don't lie to each other. Open your eyes. There's truth inside. Till next time, this has been Jeranism and the Globebusters. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.